What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys, and of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we discuss the breakdown of the 2024 NFL Draft for our Dallas Cowboys. Of course, the results are in, and mainly focusing on the official drafted players. We do have the undrafted players that we've signed as of now, but we'll probably be diving in more detail on the undrafted guys tomorrow. When we have a little more info, since those are kind of still trickling in on this
there's gonna be more
end of the night.
The undrafted guys will keep building to tomorrow. You'll get some more guys added. So we'll go through the list. We're not going to dive deep into that. But we're going to do a little bit of a recap and breakdown of these guys.
Yes,
these 8 players you see on your screen right now.
And we have a fully stacked stream because we have 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks to talk about. Well, guess not 4th.
Missed yesterday, guys. It was a rough one for the wife. We had a long day, so there's no way we can get to that one, but we're coming with it tonight. So buckle up. It's going to be a power-packed MCF episode. And yeah, it's going to be hard for us to read every comment in there. So you want to get called on. You want to get your comments or thoughts read. We'll get them here and there, a little bit, trickle here, trickle there. If you want to get in there, you gotta drop the love. That's the only way we can get to every comment tonight if you want to be heard. So we also have a poll. You can vote A to B, C to D, D to F, whatever you think our draft ended up being. You can vote, or you can wait to hear what we got to say about it, and then you can make a decision, a more educated decision on these guys, rather than just like first instant reactions. So we're gonna go all over everything tonight. But first, let's shout out those that keep the thing going here on My Cowboys Family, pretty much on the nightly, and it's the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King, back to back like our 90s Cowboys, and it's the man McLovin.
Thank you so much, McLovin. I appreciate you for showing the love.
Yeah, his Dolphins did steal a player or two that I was hoping we'd get, but yes, he's not the only guy representing on the boards. It's also Zachary Carrasco with 80 points on the Stream Boss, and you got the great Jason Renfro. He's also back to back. Like our 90s Cowboys. As
the membership gifting king.
Yes, the king of membership gifting. And right now, the leader in that, I think, is him again, if I'm not mistaken. When it comes to the leader on that board, Jason Renfro, I think he's dropped 1. And right now, 1 is enough to win it. So we'll see what happens tonight and tomorrow. We will be live once again to kind of wrap things up in a quicker way. And the undrafted stuff a little more tomorrow. So yeah, you got a little bit of chance here to try to bypass the man in the lead. As you can see him there, with 1 gifted membership so far this week, dropped for a lucky MCF family member in the chat. At the bottom of the screen, you're seeing the ticker that's rolling around. You're going to see all the, the players that we drafted, or, even a traded player that we got here, like Trey Lance with our 4th round pick. That's all included in this, and it says 2024 draft. But
let's make sure to touch on 1 or 2 more things before we do the shout outs and dive right into this, guys. Because again, there's a few different ways to show the love here at MCF. You have the super chat, the thanks button, and all that good stuff. But on the Cash App side of things, you have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
That's right. You know how it goes here, guys. A lot of different ways, like you said, super chat, thanks, membership gifting, all that good stuff, and then these 4 other ways. And speaking of other ways, guys, I do have to shout out Deadfool, who's up on that board here. I think I got to put him on the board. Deadfool, who is dropped a little after dark, love in there, as well as others like that guy from Texas, Ginger Bella, Mick, Arkansas, Daniel Berry Sports Highlight, Multi Sparkle, Grateful Nomad. Appreciate you guys on the After Dark sessions. Everybody should be pretty much on that board. And, we also got another raffle, a couple of raffles coming around the corner here, My Cowboys Family. And let me start it off with the Star Level raffle. That's coming up sometime next week, basically after this month. The Star and Over Everything level membership raffle. It's a monthly jersey raffle, sewn and stitched jerseys, and many Cowboy choices, old or new, style, sizes, you know the deal. So yeah, we always give that's one of the perks here, but you also get the weekly winners. Like for example, McLovin. If the leaders this week hold true, it'd be a different. Actually, I never said who the leader was this week because yes, even though McLovin is running the boards right now, the guy in first place.
McLovin, my bad.
No. SCO971 is the Cash App leader and the overall leader, and he's really got like tonight and basically if I even go live after dark, I don't think I'm doing that tonight. I don't know. And then tomorrow, it's it. I mean, that's it. Whoever's the winner, Skull might just hold this down here and take the victory. He'll be in the weekly raffle as well there if he does hold it down to be a weekly winner this week. I just wanted to shout him out there as far as the leader on those boards. And, we do also give the monthly shout-out, the daily shout-outs for those in the Star and Over Everything level membership. So without further ado, maybe, who are those fantastic few?
Thank you very much, of course, to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Dwayne Broussard, Marissa Sparkle, Choctaw Montana 808, The Lunatic, and Over Everything, Seabass.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate all you guys on those levels and all the Navy Blue and Silver 2 family members. We also have one other raffle coming up because of the draft, day 1 and day 2 style. We got a 1 and a second jersey, 2 jerseys here for a raffle coming soon. Not sure of the date yet, but right now we're taking everything you drop this week is going to go towards that raffle, and you can win a sewn and stitched jersey, as we said, just like the monthly membership raffle. That's sewn and stitched, all the team styles, you know the deal. And first, much love. See, here's Jason Renfro adding to his current. I think he's currently leading by like 1 over everybody else when it comes to raffle entries right now, with another $1.54 to just try to bump it up a little bit more. Remember, these keep collecting, so you can keep adding another $1. You get to 10, you're in, right? So Jason's in already. He dropped another $1.54 and he said, "Go Cowboys."
Yes. So
much
again,
love to him.
Let me let everybody know how to enter the raffle before we do the shout outs here in the chat. Again, if you drop $10, bam, you're in it, and it is cumulative, right? So like, Jason Renfro can continue to drop those, $1.54s,
right?
Get another entry. Of course, every additional 10 is an additional entry.
Yep,
Limited entries,
you
they
can still
continue
stack
to stack.
them. Yep.
And if you're an MCF member, you get a bonus entry once you're in it.
Yep. Pretty easy, pretty simple, guys, and good luck to all that are in this raffle. Big shout-outs. We never said who it's from. It's the man, the Lunatic.
That's right.
Making this happen. So appreciate him. Appreciate everybody who's in the raffle so far. And it might be a couple of weeks. So, again, it's going to keep building towards that. The next couple of weeks might be just all going towards, raffle entries for anybody who drops the love. But, again, not even for the After Dark sessions. Nobody gets it from there. Remember, this is only for the My Cowboys Family side of it. Yeah, the only My Cowboys Family side of things is all you get to do it. So, anyways, good luck to all again in this upcoming double jersey raffle. 2 winners, a jersey apiece. So, as we keep it going, baby, it's time for the shout out to everybody in the house. By the way, I know we didn't do Fan Friday yesterday because we did skip it. Mm-hmm. But all the shout outs are also shouting out the great A. Lavelle.
That's
yes.
Right.
Mr. A. Lavelle, who's in the star level and in the silver level, might as well be in any of the other big levels because he's been the longest on any membership level.
Representation.
The longest ever here. So appreciate him, Mr. A. Lavelle as well. Now, who else is in the house? Talk some Cowboy football and a draft recap.
Yes, make sure to say hello and hi in the chat, just like Skeptical Fan always. Mm-hmm. Stay skeptical. Mike Aldana, much love. Q Ball, thanks for hanging with us. Jason Renfro, of course. Hello and hi. Yeah. James Herr. What's up? Luis Ortiz representing here. Even Leaside Herald had to come and talk real football.
He knows where the real football's at.
Tammy Soltis, much love. Thanks for hanging here. Daniel Berry Sports, happy Saturday to you as well. Lost in Translation. Yes, glad that you guys enjoyed that Guyton reaction. And again, it was just, like I said, the perfect timing of Mr. MCF literally like finishing his sentence. And then the next words out of the announcer's mouth were basically Tyler Guyton. So it's just great timing.
And now people think I hate him, and I do not. They just get a little glimpse of that short, and then it's like, it's not exactly what I meant to kind of show off there. But it was just funny.
Honestly,
it was more
that's
comedy
half the fun
to me.
of immediate reactions. That's the point. It's they very rarely end up
being
matching
accurate.
Exactly how things go, right?
Yeah.
So Radical Noah said the draft was A for ass. Well, hey, make sure to vote that in the poll in the
there.
chat,
Let us know
right?
what you think.
So, although if you're voting A, it's not for ass. Just letting you know. Spoonie Dog, what's up? Much love.
Spoonie.
Thomas Garrett, the superior. Garrett, of course. Rolling back here. Hector Colon, hello and hi. Yes, definitely some trenches representation happening there. McLovin.
In the house.
What's up?
The man repping the boards 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. We have Brandon JS, hello and hi. Rolling back here, Asmodeus, much love to you. Scorpio, hello and hi, what's up? We have the Q-Man, Justin Quarles, said the all-in draft, Cowboys went all in on
trenches.
2 very important things there. So, rolling it back here. Freedom First, I think he was actually first. Good for you. Ramon and Carolina Jones, what's up? Hello and hi. So, with that said, baby, let me go ahead, finally, officially, hand things off to you because, man, we have a lot of things to touch
now,
on.
let me just quickly go to
let's
this.
Get rocking and rolling.
Listen, the non-draft news, Cowboy draft news. Let's talk about something real quick. The Guardian caps. I think this is funny because I know we talked about those like marshmallow helmets, that the covers that go on the helmets for the training camp. Now the NFL is going to give players an option to wear them during games. So the Guardian cap covering the logo, that's the thing, guys. The NFL embraced the Guardian cap for practice, and it's previously resisted the notion of letting players wear these caps during games. But the reality is, even if the Guardian cap promotes brain safety, it does not look good. We know it don't look good. Yeah. So it obscures the helmet design, the sleekness of it. The logos sometimes are being the Guardian helmet or cap goes over that, sometimes covers it up. So what they're saying now is that Chief Medical Officer Alan Sills might actually see a Guardian cap on a player in a game this year. That's very possible. He says great. It's a big change coming soon, like coming throughout the league. So it's a massive change. It's about about face of what they were saying about last time. The league was clear last year saying, quote, a player would be prohibited from wearing a Guardian cap during a game. Now they're allowing it. It sounds like, and they say
they're going to start throwing bucketloads of money and trying to figure out how to make those Guardian caps look good.
Yeah, they're going to design them for each team, I'm sure. The league possibly, again, is betting on the vast majority of players choosing not to opt for this Guardian cap. So, it won't really, kind of stand out as much if the whole league is wearing this stuff. So, again, just one or two would be kind of weird. We'll see if it happens. I just thought it was an interesting little story. This is all before the draft. Although, right around the draft, Roger Goodell spoke about a change might be coming for the scheduling situation, believe it or not. Much love to Jason Renfro. Another $2 holler. What did the man say?
Woo! Thank you so much, he said, for a big, huge Go Cowboys and go get that sick.
Go Cowboys! You know it. Much love, Jason Renfro. Zachary goes down to 76 points on the stream bus. Still in the green. So, Roger Goodell said on the Pat McAfee show, that he ideally wants to go to the following schedule. 2 preseason games. So we had 4, now we're down to 3. Now he wants to go down to 2. Okay. And then have 18 regular season games. The calendar will be extended by another week. And Super Bowl Sunday will land on a 3-day weekend. A lot of people like that. It'll be the Monday after the Super Bowl is President's Day. It'll be the holiday. So they're trying to make it so that's always falling like right. The weekend of President's Day will be the Super Bowl now, it sounds like, on Sunday. That's what Goodell would like to do. But you got to remember, NFL
I can tell you right now, I'm awfully feeling very presidential after that.
And it is American sport. Why not do it on President's Day? But NFL and the CBA, the Article 31 specifically states that the league and or the teams shall not increase the regular season games to 18. That has to be reopened and then remodified. The CBA does expire all the way down at the last day of the 2030 league year. So the NFL is going to have to make monumental concessions to the players to get the NFLPA and the players to seriously entertain it. Because remember, they're going to just stretch out their contracts and make them get paid less. They're playing for more. They're making the owners more money. So these things have to change a lot of things,
I'm going to say the smarter thing to do, add an extra bye week. I know it's maybe not ideal and it sounds a little silly, but if you add an extra bye week, you can end up with the same effect of pushing everything forward. No.
But again, I agree with you. But it's not just that, though. That'd be 3. It'd be like 2 bye weeks, right? The thing that the Goodell wants is it's not about pushing it to President's Day. He wants to get an extra game in there so the owners make more money. You want that 18th game. So that's going to bring a lot of issues for the players to play an extra game to get more injured, to now have to, so they have to get paid more, the players, which means the cap has to be bigger. It's a domino effect that occurs.
Even in 2030, I can't see the players budging on that.
We'll see.
The cost-benefit analysis, the games are already so tough, even if you're making more money. That extra game, instead of maybe playing for 3 years, now you're playing for 2.
And that's the thing. When you go back to the
who knows?
Go back to the late 70s, there was like 14 games, right? Now we've increased it. If that goes that point, it's 4 games more. Now you're talking about every 4 years you're playing like 5 years total.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to wear down careers.
So even though you might be making a little bit more money within that year, depending on how your contract is structured or how it goes, you still I'm going to just throw it out there. You probably make more money if you play 3 years instead of 2. Doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid in those 2 years. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens if the players will have to demand a lot from the owners to accept the reopening this up and doing anything before 2030. And then at 2030, they can talk about it then.
I know.
Now, keeping on this thing because we got to get to the draft stuff. One last thing before the draft. Cowboy jerseys. So if you bought these guys' jerseys, you got to get new ones because they just changed some numbers, guys, on this team. Starting with wide receiver Jalen Tolbert, who was number 18. Now he's number 1.
He is number 1.
Jalen Tolbert got the number 1 jersey now. Then we have Martavius Bryant, wide receiver. You guys love him. He's on the. He's one of the futures. He's on a futures deal, so he's got a chance to make the team. But he was wearing number 17, which was kind of repetitive, and now he's wearing number 84 officially now. So Martavius Bryant, number 84. Jalen Tolbert went from 18 to number 1. And then you have Damone Clark taking 18. Yes, he went from that Tony Dorsett 33 number. I'm glad he's done with that number. I don't like seeing it on players, especially defensively. We had Cheeto, and now him wearing it. Don't throw around Tony Dorsett's number like that. But Damone Clark went from 33 to 18. Why? Well, 18 was his number at LSU, and it is steeped in tradition when it comes to the LSU numbers and carrying that number into the NFL. So he really wanted that. He reclaims his college number, which, again, it was open because Tolbert went to number 1. One last change. It was by DeMarvion Overshown, who has not taken a regular season snap in the Cowboy uniform. He was number 35 last year. Now he's number 13. Lucky number 13, taking over, a guy that had torn ACL as well. Unfortunately, Michael Gallup's lost numbers since he's off the team. He's now number 13. So DeMarvion Overshown went from 35 to 13. I thought he was going to go to number 0. Agent 0, what happened? But no Dallas player has yet worn number 0 since the jersey assignment was allowed last season. Remember, it was going to be Jaron Carson. He said then he backed away. Then it was going to be, we thought it was going to be Overshown. They didn't give it to him. He didn't take it, whatever. He's taking number 13. He stood at the best chance to get that number 0. He wore it at Texas. That's his nickname. But he settles for Michael Gallup's old number 13 instead. So that's some updated jersey number stuff. Now let's talk draft. I don't know if you guys have any quick comments on that. If not, we're moving on. No?
Yeah, definitely some interesting points there, because Danny Savage said, F buying jerseys, spend that on free agents.
Exactly. That's what we would like to see them do.
Dustin Roberts said, getting Overshown back is like getting an extra third-round pick.
It is. It is. Just you get an extra third-round pick. Should have been in his second year, had the offseason training, had the strength and conditioning. He'd be bigger and better this year. He's still going to be not as good as he would have been if he had not been injured, right? But yes, getting him is a bonus piece if you look at it that way.
Yeah, so and Danny Savage also threw out there, if we're going to have 18 games, fine. Dress 65 players every Sunday, and practice squad should be 20 players since we care so much about players being healthy.
Agreed.
You have to make so many adjustments and concessions there.
Yep, and then you have to open the cap more.
Yep.
For more guys to be signed because you got more players signed, the money's still going to go. And then, when you do all these things, the owners got to pay the fucking piper. They want to make a little extra money per game. Players got to make money. Players got to get paid more. And they have to be more players.
Said it. Goodell wants the Super Bowl on President's Day weekend. So, hey, like I said, all I know is that, I think everyone's going to start pushing for that to become a holiday in their office.
Everyone has always said, it should be an American holiday the following day. Well, if he makes it on an American holiday, then it works, I don't know. I like that idea, but you got to push it all the way to February, 20th. So anyways, the NFL draft, over 775,000 fans were in attendance in all 3 days. It was a record-setting NFL draft in Detroit. And I'm pretty sure, viewage-wise, it was a record-setting one as well. There were also, you got to remember, who ran the Shrine Bowl? It was at the Star. The Ford Field in Dallas, in Arlington, not in Arlington, where are they at? In Frisco. So a lot of players we saw in there, and we talked about a lot of players from the Shrine game, the Shrine Bowl. 57 draft picks were from the Shrine Bowl, which, by the way, is a new record. It's the most draft picks ever for the Shrine Bowl in 99 years of the event, ever. It's a 24% increase from last year. So they increased 24%. Of Shrine Bowl, draftees. So that's going to be a hot place to go to now. A little, almost like that Senior Bowl, right? Mobile.
Yeah.
This is kind of secondary now. It's moving up a little bit, right? It's never going to catch Mobile, Alabama in the Senior Bowl, but it is like the next biggest kind of way of checking out some mid-range and maybe lower range drafted players.
This is the type of thing that lets you know next year when we have it, keep a close eye because obviously it is a very fertile ground for players. Draft picks. So
agreed. And on top of that,
especially I know it sounds silly, but I think as more players stop playing in actual bowl games, you know what I mean? These types of events and things like that become so much more important because if you're really only ever going to see a player in the Senior Bowl or in the what's it called?
Shrine Bowl.
Shrine Bowl. Yeah. I know. I almost called it something completely different. I knew I was wrong. But yeah, or in the Shrine Bowl, then yeah. You can kind of see why it's so much more important to have a good showing there. So, throwing out there, by the way,
the
skeptical
man.
fan.
Staying skeptical in the
much
house.
love. Throwing it down with a $5 thumbs up, holler.
You got that 5
saying
on
good
it.
job. And go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it, brother. Always stay skeptical. I want to know what you guys think about this draft.
Well,
is a poll
yeah,
going on right now?
I know we have the poll going on right now, and I'm going to read that poll here in just a second. But skeptical fan, let us know your thoughts on that poll there in the chat, because Chalk to Montana 808 said, for those who chose anything less than a B+ or an A- overall grade, they need to understand this draft is destroying llast year. This year's draft made Dallas more physical than any Dallas roster in 28 years.
Now, I'm going to get into this, brother. I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to give you my viewpoints. There's a couple, I can say, disappointments, not in a big way, kind of small disappointments. But when you look at the overall draft, it's a solid draft, in my opinion. But we don't even know who we drafted yet. If you guys haven't seen, some of you guys haven't even seen the players yet that we drafted or know the names. So let's go through that here in a moment. But I just want to say, Shrine Bowl, a place where a lot of players will be kind of being watched as well. And it's right there in the Cowboys' backyard, at least this past year it was. So for the first time in draft history, there were 0 running backs and 0 linebackers taken in the first round. That's a new era of type of football there. But again, what are the two spots on offense and defense when we talk about kind of mirror each other? Running back and linebacker.
Yeah.
It's like, so it kind of makes sense. The Chicago's #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, broke the Fanatics record for draft night. This is only draft night. Merchandise being sold. He broke the record for any draft pick in any sport. And he beat the previous record, which was set last week by Caitlin Clark.
Oh, wow.
So Caleb Williams jumped Caitlin Clark in a week. But nonetheless, that's just the Fanatic side of things there. Now, with Marvin Harrison Jr., he didn't sign his NFLPA licensing deal. And I think he signed with the Cardinals. He is not able. You're not able to get his jersey now. The message appears on the NFL Shop and other sites about his jersey. Attention Cardinal fans. Currently, Fanatics and other retailers are not able to offer Marvin Harrison Jr. merchandise until he signs the licensing contract with the NFL Player Association. Products will be immediately available as soon as he signs.
I love how they're just straight up saying, like,
sign the goddamn. Yeah, sign the goddamn things. Get your jersey out there if people want to buy it. So, anyways, that's that. Now, as we get in closer, we know about the first round. We talked about that here on stream with you guys. We'll go back to our first round pick here. Tyler Guyton, but as the second day opened up, Brandon Graham from the Eagles, that motherfucker. He hates. We always are on their minds. He hates the Cowboys. We know this. He made a pick for the Eagles, and he used the podium to send a message. Quote, Dallas sucks.
No.
It's a level we're living in their brains. Rent-free, guys. Cowboys are, again, multiple players of the Eagles really can't stop thinking about that star over everything. The Eagles were making a move. They were making moves. They got to give them credit. They had a top cornerback pick that dropped to them that Micah couldn't believe in the first round. In the second round, the Eagles traded up to the 40th pick and took Iowa defensive back Cooper DeJean. The point is that's a guy, some people saying he's a first-round corner. So they got 2 first-round corners in a way, the Eagles, really trying to address the back end. They got the 40th pick, the 78th pick of the draft, and the 152nd pick of the draft. They traded with the Washington Commanders. An interdivisional trade there. Commanders got the 50th pick, the 53rd pick, and the 161st pick. So that's how I broke down. But I'll say that Howie Roseman and the Eagles, they've gone corner with their first 2 picks, Quinion Mitchell and now Cooper DeJean. So again, who by the way has also a punt returner, elite punt return ability, and can play nickel cornerback as well. So that is how the Eagles are working. They're working, corners, because they are very weak in the secondary. We know how bad they were last year in the secondary.
Yes.
2 top cornerbacks. One of those guys, the guy they traded up for, can play nickel and also can be a good punt kick returner, so or at least punt return ability. So they're making moves. They ain't stopping. Howie Roseman don't stop. Joneses, they made a move too. We traded down, and we definitely got a better. We got more out of that. That's why I've been screaming. We all been screaming about trade back. We finally traded back, and it worked. Now, and I'll tell you what, because we have to wait till the 3rd pick, right? But as we're going to day 2 and round 2. Some big names that went off the board that we had discussed maybe we would be drafting, right? The Tennessee Titans went early, I think, way early, on Texas defensive tackle Tavondre Sweat with their 2nd round pick. This is all before the Cowboys picked in the 2nd round. He had a visit. He had a visit with the Titans immediately after the arrest for the DWI in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So things must have checked out well. He must have been. I heard he was very honest. I heard he was very, very honest about his partying lifestyle.
Okay.
With the Tennessee Titans, and obviously they didn't have a problem with it. They picked him. They got him there very early in the second round.
For them.
And then the center we were looking at, JPJ, Jackson Powers Johnson, the Raiders grabbed him. The Las Vegas Raiders grabbed him. He was the first offensive lineman off the board in the second round. And again, it was an official 30 visit for the Cowboys. Then a little bit later, Packers at the 45th pick selected Texas A&M linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, who was a guy that we know the Cowboys really liked. Would have been the pick there, I'm pretty sure. With that, and again, Cowboys had a lot of interest in taking him in the second round specifically. The Steelers, they really pissed me off because they took West Virginia center Zach Frazier about 4 picks before we went, 5 picks before we went. That was the guy I think the Cowboys really wanted at center. I'm thinking, would he have been the pick there at our 56th pick? Maybe, but I know that JPJ I heard was not even on the board for the Cowboys for that second round. So, which
at least for me was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, but Zach Frazier might have been, and he was right there, a couple picks away, and the Steelers got him. And the last guy I have to talk about, which is the guy I'm really happy went off the board, that's Jonathan Brooks. Thank goodness for the Carolina Panthers. And now some of you guys may have wanted him. Some of you guys may have, wanted to see, roll with an injured ACL torn guy, whether it's good or not, it's fully torn, or, the fact that he's rehabbing, ready, quote unquote, ready by training camp. We know how this game plays out. It always takes an extra year before we see much from these guys. Wasting a second round pick on him, I would have been disappointed. Although with the pick we got, you can make a claim, well, we should have taken a running back as a starter at least. But either way, Jonathan Brooks from Texas went off the board to Carolina and the Panthers. They traded up to go grab him. So they might have heard Jerry Jones speaking a lot. Was he bullshitting? Jerry Jones doesn't seem to be he seems to be a guy who doesn't know how to bullshit a little bit. Like he tries, but you can tell when he's bullshitting. And when he doesn't try, that means he's telling you the truth. So in a way, number one, Jerry Jones didn't get his guy.
Yeah.
And again, to me, it was the Cowboys had him high, as Jerry Jones said, on their board. We know this. And the Cowboys, thought extremely high of him. They were okay about the recovery. Yeah, our doctor did it, but everybody gets the same medicals. So either Jerry Jones went overboard on purpose and it worked, or he was really going to pick him. And then, luckily, we don't have to find out because the Panthers got him and took most of the guys who wanted off the board. So with only a couple of picks left, the Cowboys had to make some, get some, kind of. You see them talking, and they were celebrating. So we were like, okay, they finally made a pick, and it took a little bit of time. So guys, as we look at this draft, let's just put it up on the screen and show you what this draft is consisting of for this 2024 season. Let's do it. Here it is. Here's all our players, and you can see Tyler Guyton, of course, picked there first round. Second round, we got Marshawn Kneeland, defensive edge rusher from Western Michigan. I'll talk more about him in a little bit. Third round pick, Cooper Beebe, a guard center from Kansas State. Helped block for Deuce Vaughn. Then we had another third rounder, which, again, by the way, that third rounder, Cooper Beebe, I'll talk about him too. I love that. That might be the best pick of the draft, but I love that pick, and he is another offensive lineman that now is going to go along with Tyler Guyton. So with that pick, you talked about that trade back. Do you like that trade back? We got 2 offensive linemen of starting quality, by trading back 5 spots.
I mean, I had said it when I shared my Guyton thoughts in our actual live stream that night.
You wanted to see what was happening.
I said, I'm like, as of now, I'm tentatively positive because a lot of it depends on how the rest of the picks go, and I have to admit, I think it was a win. I said it in the chat. It is not sexy, right? It's not necessarily flashy picks, but none of these are outright misses. You know what I mean?
These are far from misses,
especially the top, our first 4 picks.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep going into this, but I'll break these guys down individually, round by round. I'll just give you the whole kind of backdrop overview of this draft. We'll talk about Cooper Beebe. Again, a monster out there, a beast. And then we got third round, with our regular third round comp pick there, or was it our regular third round pick, we got Marist Liufau. I'm going to have a problem with his name. Liufau. Again, even Stephen Jones couldn't pronounce it. He just said Marist. He wouldn't call him by his last name. Liufau, who's a linebacker, a head-hunting linebacker, got the Palomalu hair from the back, from Notre Dame. And we'll talk. A lot of people don't like this pick. I think people are too hard on this pick because I think that this guy is the replacement for Eric Kendricks eventually. But I'll talk about that a little bit more. No fourth-round pick, although if you look at our scrolling at the bottom, you just saw North Dakota State. Who's that? A quarterback we got in the fourth round? Yeah. We traded away our fourth-round pick, which was like 125 or something like this, to the Raiders. They got a safety. We got Trey Lance last year. Basically, that's what the deal is. So we got a quarterback for 2 years on a cheaper deal for depth. We'll see if that comes through this year. He is our quarterback pick in the fourth round, was Trey Lance. Now, fifth round, you can see here, Caelen Carson, cornerback from Wake Forest. I didn't know much about him. He said he's the stickiest guy in the whole league. He can play inside and outside. We'll talk about him tonight. Sixth rounder, Ryan Flournoy. That's a comp pick, sixth rounder, because we traded the other one away. Our fifth and sixth actually are both comp because we traded both those picks away, one for Brandon Cooks, one for Gilmore last year. So both of these are comp picks. At the end of fifth round, Caelen Carson, cornerback from Wake Forest. And the end of sixth round, Ryan Flournoy, a wide receiver. A very Des-like receiver, I guess you can say. He says from a small school, Southeast Missouri State, and keeping with the small school vibe. In the seventh round, that guy, that Giovanni Manu, he was taken right at the beginning of that seventh round. So we never got to see if the Cowboys were going to take that tackle. Right, that was a real raw tackle. He was 6'9", 350, huge, right, all muscle. So we're not going to know about him, but we do know we went with Nathan Thomas, which is an offensive tackle. I would have assumed they would have probably went for Manu if he was there. But with that seventh round pick, the Cowboys went Nathan Thomas, offensive tackle, another smaller school, Louisiana Lafayette. And then the seventh rounder, last pick of the draft for us in this draft, Justin Rogers, defensive tackle, and I'll specifically say nose tackle, the backup to Mozzie kind of deal there from Auburn, who's also a big, heavy man in the middle. And that is a good kind of backdrop, kind of fallback kind of guy. He's going to have to earn his spot on this team. But, those last couple of guys there, Caelen Carson, Ryan Flournoy, they're going to be more special teams when they come on this team. And the other guys are more developmental guys at the bottom of this tier. But the top four picks that you said, these got to be impact guys. They got to be, at the very least, starters or impact rotational players. And we got to wait to see on that. We really can't say what the draft will be like until then. But we can give our thoughts. And that's what we're going to do tonight and tomorrow night. And you guys can give your grade right now over there. So when it comes to the undrafted names, tomorrow we'll dive a lot deeper in these guys, into these players. And, we'll talk about them tomorrow. But I'll give you the quick list right now. There's 10 guys that we signed as of now. Probably tomorrow we'll sign another 2 or 3. Here's the official undrafted free agent list so far. Even though they're still, I'll say official, but they're unofficial because these signings have to actually be done on the dotted line before they're official. So these are just like verbal agreements, you know what I mean? So, for reference, here's what we got. We got 2 tight ends. We got UCF tight end Alec Holler and Minnesota tight end Brevin Spanford. Then we got 2 receivers, Cam Johnson from Northwestern and receiver Corey Crooms from Minnesota. 3 linebackers, Brock Morganson from South Dakota, Byron Vaughn from Baylor, and UCF, baby, Jalen Johnson in the house. You got a safety, Julius Wood from East Carolina. You got a defensive back, Solo Turner from Illinois, and also from Illinois, defensive tackle Denzel Doxson. But there'll be more over the next day or 2. You'll see this list filling up with more guys. So right now, we got ourselves a good crop of undrafted players, 10 guys, and we'll see who's out of this tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll talk more about these undrafted guys, in detail. Any quick thoughts on any of these names? Other than, I don't want any breakdowns.
Well, lost in translation, I love that comment. He said, we drafted by the pound this year.
Heavy. So as far as this draft, I'm going to give you a quick view of this. Tomorrow we'll go into more our views on this. We're about breaking down the players tonight. I think I'm going to learn some stuff. I think you're going to learn some stuff. I know you guys are going to learn some stuff about our drafted players.
Yes.
But we went over the first round pick already, with Tyler Guyton, 2 days ago. So we got him wrapped up. But the rest of these other 7 guys we have not yet. So as far as this entire draft, the vision, I think is we got to look at here. Because I'll be honest, I'll give it like a B+, A-, because this was a solid draft from top to bottom, in my humble opinion. We got to see what this happens. We don't know what's going to happen until it's actually played out. We know this. But a gauge, that B+, A- feels good to me as of this moment. Now, why do I say this? The vision is throw good quality. This is a deep offensive line draft, throw quality onto that offensive line in this draft. And that's what we did. We threw 3 offensive linemen, 2 tackles and a guard/center. So 3 offensive linemen in this draft, in the trenches there. 5 of the 8 picks were used on either the defensive front or the offensive front. So you throw in there our last pick, defensive tackle. You throw in there, the edge rusher. In our three linemen. That's 5 trench guys out of 8. We're working the trenches. And we've said it before, guys. Almost every game we always break it down. We say, what's the key? It's the trenches. Remember last year? Every game, how do we win? The trenches.
Right.
Offense and defense. Run or at least block for Dak to pass and run a little bit. But because
we're a major factor.
But stop the run on defense. And that's one of the things we have not been able to do. So we went for the offensive line for Dak and the run game, and went for the defensive line to stop the goddamn run. And let me tell you, Liufau, what's his name? I gotta look at it to see it.
Who again?
Liufau.
Liufau.
He actually, to me, he's part of the run game because he's going to be helping stopping the run. He's a headhunter attacking the running game. So, anyways, really 6 picks are about the run on offense or defense, in my opinion. To me, again, you're going on premium positions here. Premium positions are offensive line, edge rushers. These are premium positions. You don't want to just pick up some late round guy. Every year. And once in a while, whatever. But every year, edge rushers, you want to go high on this.
Some chances, but sometimes you can't afford to miss.
And running backs, we could afford to miss. And we didn't get any running backs in this draft, as you can see. So, we heard about Zeke. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But if you're going to miss a spot, why not? Running back is okay. I'd rather miss a running back than an edge rusher. You guys see? That's why Jonathan Brooks or, Marshawn Kneeland, I'm taking Kneeland. I'm sorry. I know. Even I would say, give me a starter. A starting running back there, but do I want Jonathan Brooks? I mean, Trey Benson, I would be a little happier. But if you're going to miss on a spot, I'd rather miss a running back than a defensive edge rusher. And that means even for depth. So, again, good value, basically, in my opinion, with pretty much every pick here, but maybe one pick. So if you're going to miss a spot, again, running back is a spot to miss. Are we a better team, though, than we were last year? And I believe the answer is no. We're not a better team. We're younger. We got some good future possibility, but we're not a better team than we were last year, which was never going to happen. Not because of the draft, because of the Joneses and the free agency and the lack of moves. It was never going to be better than last year, this team, no matter who was drafted. So keep that in mind, guys. Now, the draft style, I see here, this overall vision. I don't know if it's McCarthy changing things or was it Will McClay changing things, or updating philosophies, because the Cowboys this time, you guys said poundage, but they did not give a damn as much about the football factory colleges that we like to tap in all the time, the big name colleges, right? Although I believe probably should stay a little bit closer to that. I don't like deviating from that too much. But they did that with the later picks. The last 3 picks, the 2 out of the last 3 picks there. To me, most of this draft was still known schools, or at least, you look at the top 4, pretty solid fucking, Western Michigan, I guess. But my point is, across the board, it's pretty much solid guys here in the first 2 days of picks. So, to me, when you look at the first 120 picks of the draft, don't assign too much expectation after 120.
Okay. So
that's basically the break there, right? The 5th round and beyond, expectations temper them down. But the top 4 guys that gotta be useful this year. That would make it an A+ if we get those 4 guys up top in this mix. And if the other guys can just help a little bit, that'll be even a bigger boost.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm looking at this.
And I'm also going to say, not to beat a dead horse here, but with the lack of moves by our front office when it comes to free agents, it puts that much more pressure on those first 4 picks. And especially now that we know who they are, what they are, where they play. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So now, I also want to say, we'll talk about running back here in a minute, because the Cowboys did not take a running back, as we know, but we did draft 3 offensive linemen, which helps all the running backs. All the running backs, right? The whole run game. So the Cowboys now are looking at running backs maybe in the undrafted market. We just talked about this. There's not one undrafted. Frank Gore Jr. went to the Bills, his dad's old team there. So he's not, we still have not signed a running back even in the undrafted core of guys. So we really got to look now at the undrafted, not just the undrafted free agency, but also the current running back free agents that are still out there. Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott. So again, if you block well up front, you can run lesser names at running back, in my opinion. And that's what I think we're going to do that this year, guys. Because of inactivity, we're always going to miss someone here and throwing darts at some of these guys in the later rounds, the later schools. But I do think the running back is where the Cowboys are going to focus on in the free agent market now after these, after this draft here officially has ended. Because now you don't get hit with compensation formula picks anymore. You don't get taken away any of those comp picks. So that's where Stephen Jones likes to party. So you'll see I think you'll see a couple name guys get signed for minimal deals coming up in the next weeks or so, or even months. So if you guys were watching the draft, there was a mid-round in this beginning of this draft, in the 4th, 5th round. We don't have any picks until the last, like one of the last picks in the 5th round. Mm-hmm. So there was a huge run at the running back position in this draft, and the Cowboys couldn't do a damn thing about it. It could have traded up, I guess, but they decided to keep their picks, hope that one of these backs fell to them. And every time, there's one guy was picked right before the Cowboys went. I forgot who it was, but he was picked right before the Cowboys. Probably would have drafted that running back then. And I think it was Jace McClellan. I don't know, maybe somebody else. But, man, Cowboys missed at every running back in this draft, and it happens sometimes. But we have, right now in our running back situation, looking at some we're looking at undrafted. I'm sure we might bring in an undrafted guy. We have not done that yet. But you got to look at these free agents out there, these veteran free agents. And right now, our running back room is like this: Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, Malik Davis, Snoop Connor, Royce Freeman, and Hunter Lipke. Not a very good running back room. But if you improve the blocking on the offensive line, these guys, some of these guys that make the team, I think Rico can. I think Royce Freeman can. I think that Malik Davis actually can as well, even if he's on the practice squad. And we'll see what Deuce Vaughn can do, if anything. Snoop Connor, probably practice squad. Hunter Lipke, fullback. But most of these guys will be able to get to that line without a problem with a better blocking front. And don't forget, again, this doesn't make me that happy, but there is one guy that's been talked about. We talked about him earlier, and we've seen him before. This guy, Ezekiel Elliott. Will he be our running back now? Because I do not want him to be a starter. But it sounds like he will be on this team. Zeke, it sounds like, we talked about it earlier in the week. He was there visiting with the Cowboys, at the Star, and basically right before the draft. So more news has come out because Jerry Jones was asked about this at the press conference. And again, Zeke could be added to the running back room as well. Now, before I give my info, baby, what did Jerry and Steven have to say about the Ezekiel Elliott situation that, the front office was asked yesterday about? Because we had not drafted. We didn't draft Jonathan Brooks in the 2nd round. We didn't draft, any running back in the 3rd round. So what were the Cowboys going to do about the running back situation, according to Steven and Jerry?
So part of it, Steven started off, like you kind of mentioned, the board fell at running back throughout the draft, right? He had it in there. It felt like every time the situation was there for us to make a pick and do the right thing, it wasn't at running back. So, if there you go.
They didn't go by position. They went by what was best at certain positions. Which is
exactly. So, they weren't trying to necessarily fit a running back peg into a square hole. Would you say that that's one of the few things that held true?
Yes.
Stephen Jones said early in the offseason they were going to do a little bit something different at running back?
I know you said that. I know you had mentioned that. And this could be something different. They were not going to prioritize the running back, even though Jerry Jones seemed to prioritize Jonathan Brooks. Mm-hmm. But could have been smokescreen. I don't know. But, I think with the Cowboys analytics team, and I said this last in the season, the Cowboys analytics team didn't really start hitting until week 6, 7, 8. Because they weren't there until like July. Like, we got this team now a whole year in under the belt here. We got a whole offseason with them now. I think they're using the analytics to draft certain players as well. A little bit. This is the best analytics team in the league. So I think that they're using that to kind of gauge the running back position, the right running back. You don't have to rush to get them. You know what I'm saying? So
I know, and you guys said in the chat, you said it as well, Mr. MCF, you can probably run a toddler behind this soon-to-be new and improved offensive line, and you should be okay, which is why I personally think that Jerry Jones's comments here about Ezekiel Elliott, extremely relevant, right? He said this, quote, "As recent as the end of the year, as in last season, I saw Zeke play, and I'll tell you, he's good enough to be a starter." So, and he does mean a starter like now, this season, upcoming now.
You know that means the $6 million we owe on the cap, plus another $7.5 million running back, Ezekiel Elliott will probably be here very soon. Is that all they said about Zeke?
As far as
running back?
like I said, as far as specifically about the run game, yes. Although I guess there was one final comment because Stephen Jones did add in there that because of the whole draft thing. The final thing he added in there was, I feel like we'll get that done in free agency.
So again, going with a free agent running back is the point here. And I know we heard about Dalvin Cook and of course Ezekiel Elliott. So let's go with Ezekiel Elliott because there's some new information on that. Oh, well, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Again, this is more. I had him more on my draft board side of things, but because he is talking about the whole running back thing, he said that, quote, you stay true to what you're about as far as the draft board.
Is it Stephen Jones?
Yeah, and again, another adding in there why the whole running back wasn't drafted. Like, whatever was on their draft board, like you said, their running backs were gone. It never hit right, so they didn't try to force it just because they wanted a running back.
I think that the Cowboys front office, Jerry and Steven, did not want to force it because they have this ace in the hole. Yeah. They got a deal worked out with Zeke already. They got a deal worked out if they need to sign it, and they're going to sign it, in my opinion, because the Cowboys are, once again, it's not just seeing him once. He was there multiple times at the Cowboys front office at the start during this week. Cowboys have yet to fill that running back need, and he just heard the front office saying they're going to go in free agency. Well, here you go. I like Dalvin. I would love to see Dalvin Cook, I think, a little bit more, but if, it depends how the Cowboys want to use these guys. Jerry wants to resell those Zeke jerseys. So, owner and general manager Jerry Jones, you heard him say it today. That again, I want to readdress one thing. There's a lot of content creators that are saying this is a done deal. There's this guy named Ernie on the Twitter streets, and he is he jumps the gun on everything. He says he's got sources. 90% of the time, he's either wrong or guessed right. So he's not a breaker of news, and people are taking this
or
though.
A reputable source.
Far from it. But I'm hearing people taking it saying Zeke is signed. He may be signed in a couple of days officially. He is not signed yet. Jerry was asked about this, and he said the Cowboys did not have an agreement in place with Zeke yet as far as signed. But something in place, I would not doubt that, right? Now, he said that he didn't want to say if we had a deal in place with it, but I'm telling you there's a deal waiting for him, but there's not signed yet. It's not done yet. It hasn't been offered fully yet. But at least the Cowboys, I think, feel confident. They know what his price range is going to be, and they can afford him. They're willing to pay Zeke rather than use a draft pick. That's what it came down to for, I think, in their heads. Why they were easily not drawn in to take a running back, unless it was Jonathan Brooks, maybe. So, again, Zeke played with the Cowboys 2016 and 2022, and both sides have acknowledged interest in each other. Cowboys met with Zeke and his agent, Rocky Arsenault, early this week a couple of times to discuss a possible reunion. Then Zeke and Arsenault, they went to the same restaurant, D. Lincoln Prime, where the Cowboys were holding a scouts dinner. So was that coincidence? I don't know. So Jones says that he still believes Zeke can be a starting level running back, which you just said.
Yeah.
And if you look at those, is that really accurate though? Because again, Zeke, he did lead the Patriots last year with only 642 rushing yards on 184 carries, and he had 3 touchdowns. He had team high 51 catches. He's the leading receiver for them. 313 yards and 2 scores. Also, 600 out of his 642 yards, though, that's, of course, a career low. He saw a significant increase in those last 5 weeks of the regular season, after their number one rusher, Ramondre Stevenson, was sidelined with a high ankle sprain. But in those final 5 games for Zeke, he did not run for over 68 yards, and he averaged more than 3.1 yards per carry only one time. That's not starting running back. So guys, everybody out there watching right now, please understand do not fall for Jerry's bullshit. He is not a starting running back, even if they're going to tell us he is. He's not starting quality anymore. He used to be fantastic.
Even I have to admit, it's hard to buy what Jerry's selling in this particular case, but when you consider the other running backs that we already have, along with Zeke, along with our O-line, I'm not saying I'm necessarily happy about it. I just understand why the Cowboys are choosing to basically not really do anything too innovative at the run position.
This is because it's the last year. I also think, this is the last ride. Maybe for Dak and Zeke together, so that could be another reason,
said,
right?
I'm really taking Steven at his word, because it's one of the few things that I think was actually a truthful statement by our front office. They are trying to do something different here at running back, so they are basically forcing themselves to pivot in the opposite direction. So, just throwing that out there. So, Beetlejuice, what's up? Raul said, Zeke again. What a joke. Orion Fowl said, Zeke does goal line very well, but we need an actual running back. So, I guess...
And that's my question. Who is...
better?
Well, that's my question. Who is the starter? That's my issue here. So, Zeke is not a starter. He can play in the mix. It's more about which down does this guy get, that guy get. If Rico can run behind our line, I guess he can be our... it'll be one of our three-headed horsemen here. As far as the back, you're going to probably have, Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, and Royce Freeman. Those are going to be probably your three running backs. And then you'll have, maybe Deuce jumping in there for some plays, or, you might have it mixed up with some different guys here and there. Hunter Lipke help blocking a little bit. I mean, just saying, like Malik Davis, if he makes the practice squad, maybe that's where he goes. So it's not a very good running back room, even with Zeke. That's my issue. Now, you get Zeke and Dalvin Cook, and let the two guys fight it out for the one spot. That's fine with me. We can do that. We can do one of those fight it to the death. But, just Zeke, and he's going to be the starter, that don't make any sense to me. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe they told him, listen, we'll make you the starter. But Zeke's not, he's going to want much more money if he's going to be, quote-unquote, a starter. So, but the Jerry Jones saying that, again, kind of hurting their negotiations in a way. Now, moving on from Zeke, we're going to talk draft now.
Of course.
Let's get back to the draft and really start breaking these guys down.
But before we do that, baby, I do have to take a second here.
Okay, all right.
To remind everybody to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys can follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, hop in the Discord, link for that in the description box down below. And an extra special thank you to everybody here on the boards represented.
Yes, and an extra special thank you to The Lunatic. Guys, we have a jersey raffle going down here in the next couple of weeks.
That's right.
And if you get in to this raffle, you have a chance to win a sewn and stitched any team and any player available. But you know how we do here. We have the most available for the Cowboys, and it is new and old. The styles, whatever era that was, different styles, color rush, different jerseys, a lot of different names from players now and players of old. And you're not getting it through Jerry Jones. Remember, that's good too. So here you're getting this one here. If you drop $10, you're automatically entered into this raffle. You're in the raffle, and you get you get that one raffle entry. If you are part of the membership, navy blue level, silver level, the star level, or the over everything level, any of our levels, you get it. If you hit that $10 mark, you get a bonus entry. Boom. And if you want to get a better, increase your chances to win one of these two jerseys, you get to pick the player. We're not giving you the player we want to give you. You're picking the player. But it's not just, it doesn't stop there. Your chances can get higher if you drop a little bit more. You drop another 10. Now you got 2 raffle entries, plus if you have a membership. So every $10 on top of that, you can keep stacking them. You see some people dropping $2. If you drop $2 5 times, you're in the raffle. It keeps growing on top of it. And hey, right now we have it for 1 week going. We might go one more week with this thing and then do the raffle. So stay tuned for that if you're in it and if you want to be in it. If you're watching even on the replay, you can hit the thanks button and join it that way. You can go through the Cash App, the PayPal. There's always those ways as well. So whenever how you do it, guys, it also counts if you're in the membership. That counts if you jump and join the membership. That counts towards this, and so does if you gift memberships. That also counts towards raffle entries. So just keep that in mind. If you drop the love, there's extra bonus going on here, and it's all brought to you by your boy and girl here from MCF, and you're the man, the lunatic, who made this possible. So thank him for that. Thank you all for watching right now. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. Now back to the draft. We'll start off with Tyler Guyton. All right, our first round pick there. You see him. I think he's wearing he is wearing number 60. You can't miss him on the right side. I'm highlighting the offensive line on that side too there, but number 60. Now Tyler Guyton, picked at the 29th spot. Do you guys know we were talking about trading, right? There was trades going on and whatever. Do you guys know though, the Commanders and the Patriots were both attempting to trade back up into the first round to draft Tyler Guyton.
Oh wow.
Dan Quinn had his old tricks, the ghost of Belichick and the Patriots. But the point is, there were teams trying to get Tyler Guyton in front of us. So keep that in mind, guys. Tyler Guyton was a guy I didn't like. And I said this multiple times throughout the last couple of months because his measurables were not good at the combine. I should never base it only on one thing. The fact that he is the second best pass protecting lineman in this draft, pass protection, not overall, but pass is a big deal. And it tells me the Cowboys are going to pass a lot. They want to make sure Dak's blind side is solidified. Or maybe his right side. We have to decide, because there's that other pick coming up soon that we got to discuss. Make it shuffle up that offensive line. We really don't know fully, I think, what's going to happen for at least another couple weeks. We hear more from the team and maybe what these practices, rookie OTAs, and kind of going to look like. So, point is, you look at the analysts, the experts. Where did the experts rank Tyler Guyton, our first-round pick? We got him at 29. Eric Eldholm said 23rd. Matt Miller, 23rd. Field Yates, 24th. Daniel Jeremiah, 26th. Dane Brulger, 27th. Mel Kiper Jr., 30th. Jordan Reed, 32nd. And Nate Tice, 37th. That's it. That's the lowest he was ranked. He was ranked between 23 and 37. That is, and we got him right there at 29. That's a good spot. Trading back and adding you got to add that. I always add that third-round pick on top of the fact we got Tyler Guyton. That's major to me. So with our new tackle, brand new tackle, Tyler Guyton, he's athletically, he scored a 9.73 on the RAS scale out of possible 10. This ranked him 38th out of 1,377 offensive tackles since 1987. Now, Tyron Smith, he had a 9.68 in his RAS score. A little 0.5 less than Tyler Guyton. Athletically, that ranked him 42nd. Guyton is 38th in the history of this test, right? And this formula takes all of the height, weight, and athletic testing measurements, converts them into a digestible and comparable figure that falls somewhere in that 0 to 10 RAS scale, relative athletic score scale. So, again, just wanted to let you guys know, athletically, built physically, very similar to Tyron Smith for Tyler Guyton. So, now, before we get to here, because he came in after the draft, immediately to Dallas, and took the tour that we had of the star, but he had a better tour. Trust me. According to data collected from PFF, listen to this, guys. Very impressive. The last 2 years, he's had 355 pass blocking snaps and 191 pass blocking snaps. So we're looking at basically like 500. 550 pass blocking snaps in a span of 2 seasons in college. Out of a true pass protection set, he had 108. He was 108 snaps of true pass protection sets. His pass block efficiency was 98.4%. When they knew they were passing and they blitzed, so they hit him up, whatever they could. When the defense knew what the offense was going to do, this guy still was almost unblemished. He allowed 0 sacks, 1 quarterback hit, 4 quarterback hurries, and 5 quarterback pressures in 2 seasons. And in true pass blocking sets, which is you're really giving up a lot of your disguising or whatever you want to call it on the offensive side when the defense knows they're coming and they're blitzing and they're bringing or they're coming to sack the quarterback. And so he has to be on his best game there. Remember, offense knows what's going to happen on every play. The defense has no clue unless it's a 3rd and 15. And then they know it's probably going to be a pass.
Yeah.
So pass blocking efficiency is a PFF signature stat, which measures pressure allowed on a per snap basis. And then they weight it a little bit towards sacks allowed. So listen, sacks allowed, none. And again, when you look at these other things, the pressure allowed combined, I mean, what? 1 hit, 4 hurries, and 5 pressures when the defense knew that the team was passing? When they knew that Oklahoma was passing? Come on. That's fantastic. Pass blocking is his mastery. And I love that part of it. That's why I'm a little more hype about him now than I was when we first saw him, because the way he tested physically and athletically, even though the numbers were a little low, were still comparable to Tyron Smith. So they're not, even though there's a lot of offensive tackles that were really good in this draft, but none, I think there was just one that was better in pass protection. So Tyler Guyton here, right? Came into town literally on the red eye after the draft, teary-eyed and motivated. Tyler Guyton, guys, was not able to hold back his emotions. En route to the Cowboy facility, he had his family with him, his mother, his father. He's going to wear number 60. The Cowboys announced that. And that's the same number he wore at Oklahoma. And I love the story of this because his whole family came. His dad is the way I would be. Like, we are He's a true Cowboy fan. I know his dad is, and I'm sure he is too, obviously by proxy. But guys, his dad was on the floor of the Star in Ford Center, kissing it and like rolling in it. Like he didn't move for like 10 minutes on the Star. So, guys, it was Tyler Guyton and his entire family consisted of his father, his mother, his brothers, and some friends who flew in with him from South Texas, and they did everything they could to contain their emotion. And they failed to do that. And when they exited the aircraft in Dallas, went on the team's warehouse where he was greeted with cheers, and he high-fived almost every employee that helped. Basically, they helped manufacture his jersey. He got to see it being made.
Wow, that's really
so
cool.
they made the jerseys right there for him and his family right there with that number 60. Took it all in. Again, they went to that Star tour. They were walking out onto the Ford field. They were on the floor hugging it. The mom was on the floor as well. They took pictures. It was like a very festive environment there. And when he went to the rings, they have the Super Bowl rings and the trophies. He said, when he got to the rings, he said, "Oh, we got to add to that." He said, "Put another box up there and get it open for that." And he looked at the Super Bowl rings. He started crying. The Super Bowl trophies. He actually broke down.
Damn.
So, yeah. I don't think he could believe he was there. He was heading to this press conference. He was his opening press conference, but he went through the locker room, the locker room at the Star there, and Brock Hoffman was there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, maybe the starting center, right? And he welcomed Tyler Guyton to the Cowboys. Tyler Guyton didn't know who the fuck he was. He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" Okay, "Oh, Brock." But he was very humble about it, and Brock was humble too about it. Again, they ended up putting.
He's used to people not knowing his name very often.
Brock,
Unfortunately,
yeah, I know. Well, hey, he's got a podcast. But the thing is that to help facilitate this Tyron Smith and kind of the ghost of Tyron Smith going into Tyler Guyton, and the fact that they want to put him around maybe one of the greats, right? Every time we draft one of these guys in the first round, they're great. They put his locker directly next to Zach Martin's. So when he saw that, he almost fainted. He was like, "No, man, you can't." He put the helmet on. He was almost in tears. It just all hit him in one shot there. He said, quote, "I'm right next to Steele and Martin? What the fuck?" Like he had, the expressions were real. Again, he was then added, by the way, he said that he was added to the offensive group chat and is now in communication with his new quarterback. And so this is already going right now. It's getting real. And he got really affected by this, emotional. He was, when he was at the press conference, as he got on stage there, he was actually in the bus, interviewed by multiple Cowboy reporters. But then he was over there for his opening press conference, and he introduced his entire family to begin the press conference. His father was like ready to play; he was ready for a helmet. Got Cowboy family. This is a Cowboy family, literally like us here, right? I mean, they have the same thing there. They all were wearing number 60 Guyton jerseys. They all helped play a role, becoming the first-round pick for the Dallas Cowboys. You know who else did? Who was wearing a jersey there too? Peanut. You know what Peanut is? His miniature Chihuahua.
Aww.
Yeah. So again, he was whatever he lacked in size, made up by his dog's aggressiveness. And again, what his dad said was this, quote, "He had to get away from Peanut, and Peanut was pretty quick. But Tyler got good at it," which kind of helps explain his quickness on his feet. Using the doggy, a little bit quickness on his feet there. And his dad, Alvin, also brought a T-shirt with a picture on it. It was his mother, Gracie May, holding Tyler Guyton when he was born. Mm-hmm. And then, he said Gracie May passed away 2.5 years ago, and she would be overjoyed about him being a Dallas Cowboy. So, and about today. So, very nice, very real family. And who else was there? Well, he's talking about friends being there. Garrett Hayes. You know who Garrett Hayes is? He was Tyler Guyton's roommate at TCU.
Ah.
And at the end of the day, he was also wearing a Cowboys number 60 uniform. He was wearing overalls, of course, too. He was wearing overalls there. But he was a 4-star recruit from Athens, Texas, who was, kind of a good player in his own right there. But was, he caught up with they actually spoke with Garrett a little bit. He's trained to become a commercial pilot. He's not going to continue in football. He graduated in December, and he's happy about being a pilot. That's about his future. So that's kind of the situation there for my part of the Tyler Guyton story. Baby, what did Tyler Guyton say himself about this whole situation?
So he said, quote, "I looked at my phone, and it read The Star, and my heart stopped beating. I feel like everything is falling in line with the man upstairs, and we're all excited. Before I saw the Cowboys on the clock, I prayed about it." So, and obviously, He had a few more things to say, also admitted that, he has a little bit of learning to do before he gets to Tyler Smith's level, but that they actually spoke after the call was made.
Him and Tyler Smith?
Yeah, so he said, I sent him a text last night. I'm excited about that. He's a dog. He's a ferocious offensive guard. So I can't wait to show him what I can do next to him. And then as far as actually replacing Tyron Smith, he said, I feel like those are big shoes to fill from such a legendary tackle, but I'm going to work my ass off to do the best that I can. So I'm fully open to learning everything from how to take care of my body to the playbook. I'm a blank canvas and ready to find my way. Just being in the room with the greatness, like Zach Martin, is everything to me. Being able to pick his brain, if you listen to how that sounds, he's an amazing player. He's a legend in Dallas. Being on the same line as the Gob, I'm about to cry right now.
Being real right there, guys. These are guys that he had looked up to. Now he's next to.
Yeah, he added in there, putting on my star, strapping up, and whooping somebody's ass on the field. That's what I'm most excited about. This is kind of like a fever dream. He also said that his best attributes aren't tied to his skill set, though, because he said it's my heart and my mind. I really love football deep down to the core. I have a mentality of trying to dominate, and that's what I'm bringing to Dallas. Now, and then he also threw out there, that I left it all on the field. I let it all out there and work my ass off, and I'm a good man. That he helped us win a Super Bowl, man. I'm ready to put the pads on right now. I want my playbook right now.
He talked about run blocking, too. He said, I want to roll somebody and dump them. I love that. I love that attitude, that mindset. We need those glass eaters on the offensive line. He also talked that he played football most of his life, but he remember he brought this up. Mm-hmm. He didn't play until high school, like his last year of high school.
Yeah.
But he actually did play. He played his whole life, just didn't get into it in like an organized way until then.
Yeah.
But again, the thing was he took a little break in high school, tried basketball. I think we know that, right? Again, tried to train heavily to go into basketball, in the NBA and kind of that side of it. Obviously, NFL is where he was going to make it too. So again, the coaches at Manor High School, where he went to, Manor, Texas, stopped him in the hallway and said, quote, Ty, you need to play football again. And then he started going back in the football thing, took snaps at tight end. He actually caught a touchdown as a tight end in college, after being a defensive player. So an offensive lineman, moving him out to, he played defensive, I think, tackle as well, defensive end, tight end in his high school days. In college, he caught a touchdown as a tight end. So, again, Guyton taking tight end snaps, has athleticism, is not shy about, letting McCarthy know that, he's an option in surprise tight end packages.
Yeah.
Declaring eligible, of course, unlike the Lions did with our former guy there. But he said, quote, hey, line me up. I'm not dropping the pass. I'm putting that out there right now. I'm not dropping the pass. He has very good hands. So, an added, bonus kind of, trick play we can have in an important game if we ever need to use a Tyler Guyton, option pass, So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot to root for when it comes to Guyton. His family loves the Cowboys. He loves the Cowboys. This is like a dream come true for his family and him. 21-year-old, so he's still young.
Yeah.
And he's going to be 22, I think, when the season starts. So he's serious as well. He's got a mean streak. I love where he's going now. I know that he also, again, he said a bunch of other things in the sit-down portion of his what do you call it? Of his press conference.
So
what did he say?
Being here is life-changing. It was a lifelong dream for me, and now it's here. We're Cowboys for life. I've wanted to put a star on my helmet since I started playing football. It's a dream come true. And we're going to wear these jerseys until we can't anymore.
I love it. I just love that mindset. Somebody wants to really, kind of reminds me of an overshown kind of mindset,
So Tyler Guyton said this as far as Jerry flying him up on his
private
jet, right? He said, first of all, you're a baller. I've never been on a private jet before. So he was also asked, what kind of basketball player were you in the press conference? Tyler Guyton said, I was like a LeBron.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm being sarcastic there. But
it's
yeah, he's same size as him as far as height is concerned.
Yeah, he also said that one of his more memorable moments growing up as a Cowboy fan was after the game, his dad was able to kiss the star at midfield.
I'm telling you, his dad and I connect. We see the same thing here. We feel the same way about our Cowboys.
So, and then he said that he had to explain that he was a player from OU, saying, quote, "Then he told me one day I'm going to replace Tyron Smith. Then he went and told Brian Schottenheimer, and he looked me up and down."
There you go. I mean,
they were already
signs, they were getting him ready for for the Cowboys. So I love that. I love that mindset. And, there's definitely some stuff there. He's modeling his game around. Penei Sewell we talk about Tyron Smith, but Penei Sewell is the current player that he said he wants to mirror his game after. Of course, also studying Tyron Smith. He also said he has, again, we talked about, he may not be he's athletic, but he has elite footwork. We talked about his dog, trying to get away from the dog and his family dog. Part of the game, they were a quick little mini chihuahua that was chasing him around, and he'd get away sometimes. That helped his footwork. But also, as a basketball player, he said, quote, "I'm a dancing bear." So I don't know if that's what he means, that he thinks LeBron is like that. But he also said, "Iron sharpens iron." When he was asked about the matchups in practice, like against Micah Parsons, then he was asked, who's his favorite player of all time? He thought about it, and he said, Micah Parsons. So he's going to find out how good Micah Parsons really is. He's going to be worked at practice, for sure. I mean, we saw last year Tyron Smith getting worked by Micah in practice. So we'll see what happens with Tyler Guyton. Now, he also was saying that, there's a lot of elite defensive fronts in the NFC East. He said, quote, "I'm so ready. We don't have to see them. They have to see us, for real." And again, they said, what's your favorite part about the Star facility? Not as a visitor, but as a player. He said, quote, "Man, that weight room. I want to get in there and get to work." So he's ready with in the texting group. He's already got he wants to get that playbook. He wants to work out. This man is ready to go and rep that star over everything. So I love it. And finishing up things here, I think he had one last kind of finale here, but he just said the main thing we want to know is he played a lot of right tackle. And so did Tyron Smith, right? But right tackle.
We're obviously going to ask him to move around, though.
We're going to say, it looks like, again, we could talk about this after that third-round pick of Cooper Beebe. We could talk about that probably more tomorrow. But Tyler Guyton, I mean, he could stay at the right side, and maybe Tyron Steele is the backup. Maybe. Yeah. Because then you got Cooper Beebe can play that left guard. And then you got, Tyler Smith can play left tackle. Just an idea. But the point I'm trying to make here is that we are assuming he's going to have to move, and he was told this. Sounds like he was told this because he answered this question, which was basically moving from right tackle in college to now left tackle in the NFL. What do you say about that?
I actually feel like I'm better.
No, I think you missed it.
What? Oh, yeah, sorry. Just refining my technique, repetition over and over, doing so much that I can't get it wrong. It's just switching your footwork and switching your hands. Your technique and also flipping the plays in your mind. I actually feel like I'm better at left tackle. I'm more comfortable over there, so I feel like the switch will be pretty easy.
See, I mean, I hope it's right. Like, some people have more trouble than others. But Tyron Smith had no issue.
I think it's more just the fact that, like you said, because he likes and enjoys and has done it before.
Right, he already kind of knows.
As far as left tackle. Yeah,
he has a feel for it already, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he likes it. So hopefully he'll be comfortable there. I know he wants to develop his game after Penei Sewell. But he said he needs to refine himself in the run game, which, again, that's his biggest weakness, and that's a good thing that he notices that. But, again, he's texted players on the team, specifically Zach Martin, back and forth, already had conversations with him through text, wants to pick his brain, grew up watching. Tyron Smith, as we know already, guys, right? They both share an agent, actually. Tyron Smith and Tyler Guyton have the same agent, Joe Panos. And, according to them, he said, quote, according to Tyler Guyton, he said that Tyron Smith is, quote, his technique is so refined. He's one of the best to ever do it. And then at the end, he just kind of finished it up by saying, listen, when I'm not on the field, I'm a cool guy. I like to laugh and show love, but on the field, I want to hurt people. That's just naturally my tendency as a player. I'm violent, and I love the game of football. And that's what you want to do. when you play football. So I love his attitude. He seems like a real. First of all, he's trying to get better at the run game. He's definitely a go-getter, and he has a mean streak in him. So, you know what I'm saying? I like the glass-eating attitude. Pass protection is elite. Run game's got to improve. Great start. I think, arms are a little shorter than most, but I think it's a great start for this guy right now. You can't grow bigger arms, but everything else he will get better at.
I agree.
So I love this guy out there. I started off with don't want him because overall, run game not great. Overall, didn't know his pass protection was elite. Now that I know that, I know what the Cowboys are trying to do, and that's pass protect for the quarterback, not just this year but beyond. And also, in this year, you give Dak more time, you comfort him on that left side. The whole scheme works for McCarthy. It's just natural. It's just naturally going to work that way.
So, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, because now we're going to. I don't know if anybody has anything to say about this first round. A couple quick little glimpses of the first round pick, because we're done with the first round pick, and we're going to fly through the next 7 guys here. When we're done, we're done.
Johnson Cowboy said, "I'm genuinely excited again about the Cowboys. Guyton, Tyler, Beebe, Martin are all bulldozers. We're running people over."
I agree.
So, let me see here. Thomas Gare said Tyler Guyton allowed only 2 sacks and 0 sacks last year in his college career.
Yep, we talked about that on Thursday when we went live.
Luis Ortiz said, "Love this kid. He's Dallas Cowboys for life."
Agree.
So Gary Stahl was asking, "Where's the running back we need?"
Well, it's going to be...
He's not in the building
no
yet.
draft. We didn't draft the running back. We talked about this earlier. It's going to be Zeke or a veteran free agent. That's it. We didn't even the undrafteds. We didn't get Frank Gore Jr. We didn't get anyone. So we don't have a running back yet, even in the undrafted section. So we'll see what happens. It sounds like it's going to be a veteran free agent. Now, moving on. First round done. We're in the second round. We're seeing here Marshawn Kneeland, defensive edge rusher from Western Michigan. All right, so I know he spoke, but first we're going to talk about just some real quick analysis of this guy. A lot of people didn't like him. I'm not going to talk about if you like him or not. You guys can vote. Actually, what's the poll looking like, if you don't mind me asking?
Great point.
Yeah, I want to know.
Give me a second. Let me go
How
ahead
do you guys feel about this? Make sure you don't forget to vote. I want to know how many votes are also in this so far. How many people you got? How many of you guys voted? We have over 100 in here earlier, so I know we have some votes in there.
I was going to say we have 134 votes.
That's what I want.
And what the question was, what instant grade range would you give the Dallas Cowboys for our draft here? And with 45% of the votes, A to B range.
Wow.
With 35% having the B to C, 11% C to D, and only 9% saying D.
Wow. So are we happy? The Cowboy family crew here, I think you guys are more level-headed as a whole when it comes to the Cowboy football than some other places where you hear the craziest shit. Like they hate this draft because they didn't get their player they wanted. It's so silly. So let's talk about the players some of you guys didn't want. Obviously, very few of you guys.
Yes.
So maybe you go ahead and handle that side of things. I'm going to kick down the analysis. You're going to handle the quotes. So Western Michigan edge Marshawn Kneeland. I talk about the good, bad, and ugly. I'm not going to pump smoke up your ass. We're talking about the reality of situations. Now a second-round pick. His draft stock rose. He was like the 6th overall, 5th overall edge rusher in this draft. And again, his draft stock kept rising throughout the last 2 months. He has a rare blend of size and athleticism for the edge position. His height is 6'3", 267 pounds. So he's big enough in all ways there. He also had a 9.8 in the athletic score. Very good. I think it was 9th in this draft among all edge rushers when it comes to that athletic score. He's athletic, but he's also big. He does seem like the size and the blend of the size and the little bit of athleticism he has enough that he is, you don't get the size and the athleticism in the one guy usually. So he also has experience playing all across the offensive line. All right. The defensive line, a line of scrimmage. So, he rushes the passer, which he's good at, right? From both a 2-point stance or a 3-point stance with the hand in the dirt. So he can go as a 4-3, 3-4 edge rusher type guy. He also plays with fantastic. I put a video up. I don't know if you guys have seen my short up there, but it shows the physicality he plays at, and that's what makes him a great run stopper. That's why I'm saying even this pick, he's a defensive lineman, edge rusher. He's there for pressure and pressure and pressure, but he's really there to stop the run. He's there to do both, but the run stopping is already one of his best qualities. I've been watching this guy, some of the film, and you see the physicality. He hits you hard. It's similar to Tyler Guyton on offense. They both are very physical. I like this. We got to keep, 1 year we thought we grabbed some physical guys and we're set. We got to build it for years before you get the physical mindset for a team, and we're building that. So the Cowboys didn't have a need, really, at edge rusher in this draft. I think that's the most surprising part about this, is the need. But when you take away, again, I don't think he was great at all, but he's good enough for what he did. Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong, all right? DeMarcus Lawrence is entering the final year of his contract. That is the reason why the Cowboys took a player like him in a premium position, at a premium position, right? Not just his ability of athleticism and size, but also edge rusher. DeMarcus Lawrence probably won't be here after this year. This is our starter for next year, and he's rotational for now, with Sam Williams on the other side. That's what it's sounding to me. We're getting those four guys, Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, but you're also going to see Micah moving around. So you can see a lot of Sam Williams, and you should see some split time and rotation with this second-round pick. The only thing that bothers me with the second-round pick is why, you're not going to see him out there as a full-time starter, which a lot of times I believe second-rounders need to be, he's going to be in the rotation. He's going to be impactful in this rotation. I need to know if you think that's going to happen or not. The impact, is going to be...
I absolutely think so, especially when you hear him describe his own play style. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. But I'm not saying about his even. He's going to be an impactful, rotation guy, or he's going to be just a rotation guy. That's what I'm kind of still waiting on to see how he will develop in the NFL. So again, a lot of reasons why he's here. We're going to see more of him as every year goes by. But looking at some of the experts on this, Dane Brugler. I'm not saying his name right there, but from The Athletic, he ranked Kneeland as the 5th best edge rusher in the draft, and he ranked him 32nd best on the overall board. We got him at 56. He's a 3-year starter. All right, so these are important factors about him. 3-year starter, edge rusher in a 4-man front. All right, so fits our usual what we do, what Zimmer does as well. Should run a 4-3, or at least a nickel 4-down lineman. Either way, he was not very highly recruited. But he improved every year in college and has maybe some people saying the best tape of any pass rusher in this past season. What he did with Eastern Michigan, he was with them. So when you look for a pass rusher, you want guys that hate to be blocked. And Kneeland qualifies. He has long arms. He has bulky hands that you're able to get loose. He's able to get loose from. So again, he lacks the actual rushing savvy, the rush ability. Consistently. So he's not going to be out there, I think, as a full-time pass rusher type, even though he can do that. But he's not going to. So I'm trying to say he's not going to give you high-end sacks and production. He's not going to give you, 10 sacks, in a season. He's going to give you the production is going to be a little bit less when it comes to the pass rush.
When you look at some of the comparisons that have been made about him, was Tank ever a sack machine?
Yeah, he had a year or two, but not really.
Yeah, but I was going to say, other than that 1 year or two, overall, he's been just an extremely consistent run stopper. He has his moments and stuff, but that's not his bread and butter.
I agree. 100% right. And I'm actually going to bring you proof to that in a minute. But you're saying everything is right. This is DeMarcus Lawrence part 2 is what I think is going to be coming. Or will become, let's say, next year. Not year 1 is going to be the best that DeMarcus Lawrence was. No, that's not going to happen either. But he's explosive in his movements, and he has the power to push the pocket or even plant ball carriers. He's very good at stopping the run. Overall, he's still he's still learning how to pass rush. And trying to open up some new... He's got to have a lot of guys like Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence to teach him how to do some moves, some combinations, you know what I mean? So he'll learn. But right now he projects as a starting base whose best football is still yet to come. That's what most analysts believe about this guy. Now, the true meaning for him, I believe, is the replacement for DeMarcus Lawrence eventually, next year. So... To me, here's the issue. You get someone in the second round, that's a guy you got to plug and play. He's got to be a starter. This guy will not be a starter this year, but I think he'll be progressing to a starter. with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons and Sam Williams, snaps are going to be harder to come by for Marshawn Kneeland. And you got to remember, I think you got to take the snaps that you had from Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong, add them together, and that's what you'll see from him, more or less. You know what I'm saying? In that range. Yeah. I would hope more. But the point is, you're going to probably see kind of, I don't know, I guess it's going to be similar maybe to something like Sam Williams' rookie year, where a lot of people were saying he's not that good, but he had a great, a small sample size, but did great in that sample size. So we'll see if that happens maybe without the penalties from someone like Marshawn Kneeland. But now we're entering a point in time where Sam Williams is expected to see more of a workload this year. And that's because, again, Armstrong and Fowler are gone. Really, this is about Armstrong. And so will Sam Williams become Armstrong and then basically our rookie become Fowler? That's what I think is coming on here with this here. And again, the final year of DeMarcus Lawrence's contract. So it's a good and wise thing. The Cowboys are planning for the future in a very important spot to plan for. You have to have edge rushers. You have to have good ones. So the Cowboys are kind of starting now with Sam Williams, and of course, 2 years now, his third year. You got to see a big jump from him and Marshawn Kneeland now this season. So again, to me, I would have liked to see somebody who could have been more of an impact starter now. But as I ask you what he said, when I look back at where was DeMarcus Lawrence drafted, second round pick 10 years ago. So, again, 10 years ago, there was DeMarcus Lawrence in this spot. Now we got somebody in the second round who could be very similar to DeMarcus Lawrence. So, what did our brand new pass rusher here, Marshawn Kneeland, have to say about everything after he got drafted, baby?
So, I mentioned this earlier, but he actually described his own play style and game, right? Saying, quote, violent, physical, high motor, high effort. Always find a way to get to the ball. So a lot of people just off these comments alone were saying that he sounds like how Tank would describe himself.
Yeah.
Right? So he also, made our front office very happy because Will McClay pointed out some similarities between him and DeMarcus Lawrence directly. Once more, saying, quote, the thing that attracted us to D-Law back when he was coming out was the incredible effort that he played with. It's the same effort you see on Sundays now still. As many years as he's played, and that shows that he loves the game. That attraction, that's something that you put in your Rolodex and you go, if I see that, I know what it looks like and what it can do. So just watching Kneeland play, he's bouncing off of people. He's chasing screens down, and all of those things are some of the things that D-Law did when he was at Boise State. And plus, there is rush upside. There is ability to play outside and control the C gap and to rush inside. So there's a lot of things you can count on because that motor is always going to be there.
Huh. So he has a motor. He's nonstop. That's great things that we're going to see hopefully from this guy here. Sooner than later is my hope here.
Yes. So.
We're going to also have in our rotation Junior Fehoko, a guy we drafted last year in the 4th, 5th round. So these guys got to start producing. Keep that in mind. We got Chauncey Billups in there. Chauncey Golston in there as well. Thinking basketball.
Yeah, so, and by the way, Will McClay, I think this is my final little blurb here relating to Kneeland, but he said, quote, the incredible effort that he plays with that attracts you, and you put that in your Rolodex and say, if I see that again, I know what to do.
I thought
so, Will McClay, what?
No, I thought we had heard that one. Okay, we'll hear it twice.
No.
That's right. All right. No, go ahead. So, I didn't know Will McClay
did not say anything about
Will
Rolodex
McClay.
or...
Okay.
And now I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, Will McClay I think is confusing the youth there because they do not know what a Rolodex is.
Yeah.
So they're like, what? Like your contacts on your phone? So anyway, that is it. Like I said, that is everything as far as like actually hearing from Kneeland himself, and of course a few little blurbs there from our front office.
Yeah. So by the way, I wanted to add one last thing because when Jerry Jones. Again, this is one of the second round picks. When Jerry Jones was talking after the Tyler Guyton pick, we had 3 picks on this round, this day 2, round 2 and 3. We had 3 total picks. he said this about pairing with Tyler Guyton. You know, Jerry Jones was excited about the prospects for the Cowboys. He said, "quote The middle of this draft really looks good and it has always looked that way all the way through. I think we're going to get him some teammates, meaning Tyler Guyton. Mm-hmm. We're going to get him some teammates that he can go to the house with." So he did. He did with this guy. You see him right there, right underneath number 60. You're seeing number 50. Now, I don't know. These numbers may not be accurate, guys. I know, 13 is not. That number is thrown out because he's not going to be able 13 and 1. Yeah. Those numbers are not going to be able to be worn by these rookies. But I'm not sure about. I guess 50 is also taken. I think I'm not sure. Either way, 50 is now Cooper, or at least in college he wore number 50. Cooper Beebe, who the Cowboys did draft, and to me, this is the guy that really makes that trade down an A+. So he's an offensive lineman, guys. And I say offensive lineman because he played all over the offensive line from Kansas State, K-State, Wildcats, same place as Deuce Vaughn did. He was a senior, 6'3", 322 pounds, but he looks like a fire hydrant. So, guys, Cooper joined Kansas State in 2019, 4 year, getting redshirted after playing only 24 snaps. In his sophomore year, Beebe would play in 9 games and start in 8 of those. In his rookie year, in his rookie year on the field. But again, he you know where he was playing? At right tackle. And they started him at right tackle. He played 463 snaps. He allowed 11 pressures and 3 sacks. As a right tackle, in a very small amount of snaps, he needs to improve at that point, right? So we'll get to that in a minute, because that's in his second year. We're going to go to 2021 in a minute. But first, we're going to go to the 5 on it by the man from Hawaii, Mark Hosepian in the house.
Hey, big mahalo to the man Mark Hosepian. You know what he said?
What did the man say?
Great athlete, but a project day one left tackle or defensive end where we have 3 starters, like him.
Yep.
Center is great, but now he has to be converted to a, corner linebacker like Deshaun Wright. C+ because of the guard. So I'm guessing, okay, so Mr. Hosepian, appreciate you.
Yes.
Much love. You're rating it a C+.
Yeah, so he's putting at that second level there, I guess that BC level. And I agree with the whole second round pick issue there. Same thing as Sam Williams, right? Same situation there. And agree with that side of things. I'm going to talk about the center. To me, is the one that has to be converted from guard to center. We'll talk about that as well. The linebacker he's saying equals Deshaun Wright, so he's saying that's going to be a fail there. But this guard here that we're talking about right now, is the reason why a lot of people give the Cowboys that C+, B+, A- kind of grade.
Okay.
And again, this also should include Tyler Guyton because it's part of the trade down. The trade down is why we're getting Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. When you put these two guys together, you got some fantastic glass-eating offensive linemen for the future, for now and the future. So let me explain. So we talked about his first 2 years. Didn't play much, all right? Played right tackle, allowed 11 pressures, 3 sacks, not great. In 2021, he started all 13 games, this time at left tackle. So now he's playing left tackle for Kansas State. He played 759 snaps, allowed only 10 pressures in a full season, and didn't allow any sacks in 2021. Incredible performance that year. At left tackle, he was a right tackle, went to left tackle. In 2022, Beebe started all 14 games, but this time at left guard. So that's 3 years, 3 different positions for him.
Now, how did you do there?
940 snaps, allowed only 9 pressures and 0 sacks again. At guard. At left guard and left tackle. 0 sacks in 2 years.
I mean, that is just impressive as shit.
Earned All-American honors, Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. Then, his final year, his senior year, Beebe continued his dominance at left guard. Now, so again, guys, he continued playing at left guard and he dominated there. Left guard is like his superstar spot. Kind of like Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
But last year he did start 2 games back in right tackle again. On 942 snaps, he allowed 9 pressures and 2 sacks. His first sack was allowed in week 3, and it was his first sack that he had allowed since week 10 of the 2020 season. So almost 3 years, he hadn't allowed a sack. 2.5 years, he had not allowed a sack. And for literally playing 3 different positions. So he was given the All-American honors, again named Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. And after 5 years, basically, because he had the red shirt first year, 5 years of playing at Kansas State, he left. All 5 years, really 4 years of playing, allowed only 5 sacks in 5 seasons. That's amazing. And that was in 3 different positions.
I can't wait to see how that ends up translating, obviously, like here in the NFL. Yeah. But you have to imagine that high level of play at, in such a versatile way there in the interior of the O-line. I mean, the Cowboys had stars in their eyes, prior
in the beginning. They loved the versatility. He said versatile. He played 3 positions in college and dominated pretty much, I'd say 2 of those 3. The left side he dominated on. Right side, played well. I'll say that. But last year he had 942 offensive snaps. 456 were passing snaps. He allowed 9 pressures, 2 sacks, and only had 2 penalties. And I will tell you the bad things about him. You're going to be surprised that playing the tackle position so much in his career, like he could play guard, he could play center. But he played all 4 positions last year at least once. I don't think he played center, though. And we're going to talk about that's the biggest question I have. The good things about him. He's extremely experienced, and he's versatile, playing 3 different positions on the offensive line at a high level. Not just playing it, like Farniok. Farniok played all 5 spots, so he played at a shit level. So you got this guy who plays 3 positions at an elite level. All right? His understanding of defensive alignment, and he has a very high football IQ. It is very obvious when you see him play, when he communicates with his teammates. He shows good anchor to hold against bull rushes. He has very good upper body strength to shift defenders at ease. He gets into defenders effectively when he's blocking to create huge running lanes, and he has a great mirroring style, right? He stays with the defensive player and mirrors them to stay engaged to the defender. He does great. This is his very good qualities, and you can see it even in the couple of videos that I've put. I'm going to post more in the shorts. Check out the shorts, and you'll see the videos I posted. It kind of accentuates the fact that he's very light in his feet, like Tyler Guyton. They are both very light and smooth, and kind of have great light feet. The way on big men. These are big, huge guys. So listen to this, guys. The consensus was a 2nd-round grade for him. 2nd rounder. He was considered to be 65th by everybody. We got him at 87, at 73 or something like this. This was our trade back. Remember, 73rd pick. So that's consensus is based on 90 different viewpoints of top analysts, and he was considered to be the 65th best player in the draft. So, and his this guy's a big tub, but he's 9.8 is his RAS score, athletic score, which is fantastic, guys. I mean, I think it's like a top 30 in the history of centers.
Yeah.
He also has had no major injuries in his career.
Which, again, the fact that he's been playing that long, injury-free, knock on wood there, continue to hold that streak. It almost strong,
it almost feels like he's so bunched up. It's hard. I'm knocking on wood, but it's hard for someone like him to get injured because he's so compact. I don't know what to say. Much love to the man, Marco Sepien. What knowledge did he drop about our draft?
This is what happens when you don't draft good backups and don't re-sign guys. You're forced to reach for players. The guard was great, and we don't have time for projects.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's where the 2nd-round pick comes in. I think Jalen Guyton, I think he liked Jalen Guyton. Tyler Guyton. And I think he likes the guard, Cooper Beebe. But I know he has that issue with that 2nd-round pick, as we always seem to have an issue with, right? All of us.
Yeah.
The 2nd-round pick is always like, but what about, can he do this? How much will he? I mean, it's always usually a bust, unless it was Trayvon Diggs or a couple others, right? So just saying, I understand what he's saying. At the same time, the top 3 picks, 2 of them are immediate starters, and they're offensive linemen, which is our biggest issue, I think, on this team. With no Tyron Smith and Biotish, definitely our biggest issue. So,
of course.
Yeah. So, again, much love to Mark. He's got Zachary down to 61 points. He was in the green. Now he's in the orange. So, the great news is no major injuries for the guard, as Marco Sepien says. So, no major injuries. Great athletic for the big tub of guy he is. But now we're going to talk about a couple of the bad things in a minute. But first, let's talk about a great drop by Marco Seppian once again. And another 5 on it. What did the man say?
Thank you, Mark. He said, I see the first and third to be starters, but okay, because the left tackle needs time, and the guard has to learn, the center. The defensive edge is another roll-the-dice player. Didn't get any great starters now.
Well, I say the first. Listen, I know what you're saying because every guy's going to need a little time on even the top 10 rookies are going to need a little time on that, learning stuff, So Tyler Guyton to me is not an issue there. I don't know how you feel, babe, but Tyler Guyton's not going to really have an issue. I think he'll adapt well. Many teams had him first round, solid player for now and the future. But I think when you look at Cooper Beebe, you're worried about the learning process of him getting that center spot down, and that could mean, especially in training camp, issues with snaps, miscommunication with the offensive line and with Dak Prescott. So, again, that's something we have to keep an eye on, and I 100% agree with that. But, I actually went and sought out specific information about his center abilities or not. So, we're going to get to that in a minute, Mark. Appreciate your drops of love from above, the 5 on it. And now, man, that's going fast. Down to 56 points now for ZEKE Carrasco. He's in the orange. So, anyways, no major injuries. Very athletic for his size. Now, the bad things. Listen closely. This is important. Arm length. Arm length is a major concern.
I can imagine. We had a whole discussion about it yesterday or the day before, too.
Yeah. When it comes to his right and left tackle ability, in the NFL, he won't be able to hang.
Okay.
Because his arms are too short. So, basically, it limits where he can play in the NFL.
Okay.
His range can become an issue in pass protection. But you talk about when you're playing the left or right tackle spot. The snap reaction, now that's something that he needs to get better with, but the snap reaction is sometimes slow. But if you're snapping the ball, I'm assuming he'll be fine. I don't know, I'm assuming that. So those 3 things are all, either be fixed because he's a center or the arm length, the range. That stuff's not an issue when you're interior. The lateral speed, sometimes it slows. He's actually looks very smooth, but he's a little slow on the lateral speed. And the foot speed is also in need of coaching. So just a little more foot speed and lateral speed. He'll get better with that, I think, with coaching. So not really many bad things from this guy, except for the center spot. Now, as far as fitting with the Cowboys, he's an extremely high motor, blue collar offensive lineman. I love it. Fits this bill as a guard or center as a mauler. His size and sturdy base shuts off bull rushers, and his ability to recognize defensive alignments and dissect the play pre-snap is a huge advantage for him. Now, the issues come with reactions, mainly. In the run game, faster defenders are able to avoid Beebe and get around him quickly when he tries to react and move himself into position. His foot speed is also a little slow, so again, he gets caught lunging at times, trying to block or engage defenders, and his hands get broken away basically early, allows defenders to slip his block. Failing to make contact for him is also a huge coaching correction that he'll have to learn entering the NFL. He cannot recover fast enough or lose his technique the moment he fails. If he does that in the NFL, he will not do well. That will be a very disappointing situation there. Overall, Beebe is an extremely versatile lineman with huge value, and we got him near the end of the 3rd round. They're saying he should have been drafted no later than the end of the 2nd round, and they say he will immediately compete for a starting role by week 1, whichever team he goes to. And for us, well, he should be a starter on this offensive line. And I'll get to the center stuff in a minute. First, we got to get to Dan the Man with the drop of that 5 on it. What did Dan the Man have to say?
Gonna be real. Beebe is faster than Zeke. We need a running back that doesn't eat more donuts than he gains yards.
Oh, shit. No, hey, he ain't lying necessarily there. I mean, I think Zeke a little faster, but...
Here, Dan, but look.
This guy ran like a 5.1 or something in the freaking 40-yard dash.
Yeah, the sad reality is, like I
fast.
said, based off the several conversations that the Cowboys had with Zeke's agent and how that timeline progressed, it seems like the Cowboys are playing a game of cover your ass. And it turned around, and now, well, our ass is uncovered. Just saying.
Bite marks now.
So, let me see here. A nice try, puck up the Cowboy. Cog said Guyton and Beebe switching positions, and we need them day one. Not easy. So,
and that's what Mark Hovsepian was kind of leading into there and saying. But I do have a couple of things to add to that. Let me just make sure I update the board properly.
No, of course.
Mark jumped into 11th place, by the way. We got Dan on the board as well. So I want to make sure I added everybody and kept everything up to date on this board. So let me get to this, because here's the biggest concern is, can he play? That's all the bad things, those issues with his arm length and problem in space is fixed by playing guard or center. But how does he play at center? We haven't heard anything about center. So, guys, here's the thing. First of all, getting him in the third round, like I said already, is a steal. Steal in this draft. And I just want to say something. If you don't play center, he might... What if he moves... I'm just saying this. What if TJ Bass or Brock Hoffman is the starting center? He's the left guard. Tyler Smith is the left tackle. And then Tyler Guyton is the right tackle. With Zach Martin at the right guard. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But let's assume it's not. Let's assume this is our center. Well, here's the deal, guys. Cooper Beebe said he was again, we know he's a really, really good player, unanimous All-American. But where was he at this summer? He was at the offensive line, O-line masterminds in Frisco. Last summer, before his college, this was not this summer, this was last summer. Yeah. Before his college career was even done, he was already trying to learn from the best of the best. So, a lot of people were curious, what does this mean? Can he play center? Or is he the next left guard? And Tyler Smith kicks out the left tackle. And the word is, and I know you have some information about Duke Manyweather, but Cooper Beebe, according to all sources, will be given the try at center. He will be the center for the Cowboys. He worked at the position when you look at the pre-draft process. Where did he do most of his work? At center, practicing for the NFL. And who is he working with? Duke Manyweather, who is he's almost like a connected coach of the Cowboys. He's not a Cowboy coach. He's an individual. He's not connected to the Cowboys at all. But he basically trains all the Cowboy offensive linemen. So he was there at this O-line Masterminds convention last summer in Frisco. Was learning from Duke Manyweather, who was, again, I guess he had hired him to help him continuously and do some pre-draft stuff. So, working with this offensive, again, we know about Duke Manyweather, offensive line specialist, instructor, who has this O-line Masterminds program and runs it out of Sports Academy in Texas there, located across the street from the Cowboys headquarters. And Manyweather did talk about a scouting report on Beebe and his transition in the NFL from the guards position, let's say, or tackle, to the center position. And what did he say about this? This is a big thing for our hopeful center who's never really snapped the ball in college at center.
So
what did Manyweather say? Yeah,
he said physical, and this was by text message, by the way, saying moves better than people give him credit for. I think he showed that at the combine. He has a very high football IQ. He's going to be a leader and hold people accountable. We've worked on him playing center, and he really was natural at it. Being able to snap and pull, snap and reach. I think he's got tremendous play strength.
Wow. I love to hear that. That is fantastic. I also think that if he's able to pick up the center spot, I guess, pick it up and earn that center win. Here's I want your thought on this, okay. But I think he starts at center for the Cowboy. I think he's better than Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass at center.
I think that's the expectation, yeah.
And the expectation from me in the future, maybe in a year or 2 or 3, he rolls over to right guard. Because he's played there as well. Rolls over to the right guard and takes over for Zach Martin. You want Tyler Smith on the left, and you want, you're going to have Cooper Beebe on the right. The center can come in the next couple of years. You understand? Mm-hmm. And you got Guyton on the left, and we'll see who's on the right. Right now it's Steele. I don't know if he'll be there in a couple of years. So, what I'm saying? Just you're seeing what the offensive line is going to look like, not for now and for the future, with all of our guys. Either Tyler on that left side, or We got now a center / a guy who can play anywhere on this offensive line. And again, we don't want him at tackle, but he can definitely play guard. He's basically our definite backup guard, no matter what. He's our backup guard, but he's our starting center, in my opinion. And eventually will be the guy who replaces Zach Martin. I believe he'll replace Zach Martin, and we'll have probably the two best, left-right guard combo in the NFL again. With Zach Martin and Tyler Smith in the future. Future.
So now, Revelation Journalist said, arm length or arm strength? Which one's more important?
Well, for arm, I said Zach Martin. I meant Cooper Beebe and Tyler Smith. But arm length is more important for tackles. For offensive tackles, arm length is very important. But I think for the guards and interior players like centers and guards, the power is more important there. So there you go. That's a little my 2 cents. I ain't no coach, but that's my 2 cents on that side of things. But I just wanted to break it down. Starting at center for until Zach Martin goes, we get a center eventually, and then we move him over to guard. His natural position, But again, natural, but he's natural at all positions. And baby, I know that you were you have some quotes from him. From Cooper Beebe, I'm pretty sure. But I know he spoke, if you don't mind starting with the center quote that he said about the center position, because a lot of people were asking about him playing center and how good or not he is. And he said he's good at center. And we talked about Duke Manyweather talking about him. But, it was basically all but confirmed at the draft that that he's going to be center for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So he had some post-selection. After he was drafted for the Cowboys, he had some quotes on the center position. Now, they asked him, what about prior communication about moving to center? What do you say?
It's definitely something we've talked about. I'm kind of going in with the mentality that I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do to win. And if it involves center, that's going to be something else I'm going to do for the team. Whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do.
So, again, he's going to do it, but he also can do it. That's what's important there. Marco Seppian dropping that $5 on it. The $5 holler.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you.
Yes, and what did the man say, Mr. Marco Sapien? I don't have it up on my screen here.
Yes, give me a second. Let me get that up over here. He said, we painted ourselves in a corner again.
Yep.
If Beebe can't be center and he's a guard, Tyler kicks out to left tackle.
Correct.
And then where does our number 1 pick go?
Right tackle.
Who else was there at, 27 for us?
I think, I'm not going to go through all that list right now, but I do think that there's a chance Tyler Guyton either takes is our I don't want to say he's our starting swing tackle. That's silly, but I think he actually comes in there. I think he beats out possibly Terrence Steele for that right tackle spot, which is his real natural position he played in college. So, and I'm just saying I don't want that because we got Brock Hoffman or TJ Bass at center. We lose something there, but that's the worst case scenario, Mark. I do think that he's already practiced. I've heard from his whole experience in his career that he's played a lot of center, or practiced at center throughout his career in college and high school. So he has enough. And again, we just heard literally from a month ago how he's done a report back from one of these coaches that he's good. He's good at doing the checks, the reads, and the communication on the offensive line. And he believes he can do that without an issue at all. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be different in the NFL, and things are going to come at him a little faster. So it may take a little too long to learn. If he cannot pick up on that, he may just be the backup. Keep everything the way it is, and Beebe's the backup for a couple of weeks until he can take over Brock Hoffman or TJ Bass as a starter. So just keep that in mind too. You know what I mean, guys? Anyways, appreciate that comment. I love talking about this in different ways. If you guys want to discuss it, again, you can do what Dan and Mark are doing, and Skeptical and Jason did. Drop the love, and we'll stop and answer your specific question or thought. And we'll stop here and there to get a couple comments, but we can't hit the comments too much because we got so much to break down. We're halfway done, guys, right now, so buckle up. Now, I know a lot of people in the house hit the like, subscribe, and that notification bell. Follow us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at MyCowboysFamily. Appreciate everybody repping the boards. And, baby, let's continue with
those comments
quotes.
there.
The quotes about the center position, specifically him moving there. So, again, he's able to do it. Something he already knew about it.
Whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do.
And he already knew about it. Remember, he already knew about the center position was a spot people were looking for.
The conversations adding in their quote, it was pre-draft. It was something they had mentioned. And a lot of the teams had mentioned center. If that's what they need me to do, then that's what I'll do.
Seems very confident he can handle the center position going into this. And he showed these guys in the pro day, other things. that he can snap the ball is the point. They obviously all the teams were looking at him as a center,
So,
not as a guard or a tackle. Yeah.
and as far as,
The pre-draft process. Yeah.
he added in there, absolutely, I did a little bit. Nothing in...
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's talking about the center position. I'm sorry. I wanted to mention that. I was talking about center in the pre-draft process.
So, absolutely. I did a little bit, nothing in game at Kansas State, but definitely pre-practice and some practice stuff. And then training with Duke, as in Duke Manyweather, kind of working on the center position. It's been something I've been working towards.
So, again, you realize he mentioned he never did it in a game at center, which I did mention that. But he's done it in practices. He's done it, nothing in a game, but he said pre-practice, some practice stuff. This was in college, and what I'm saying? So he snapped the ball. He knows how to do it. He knows now he has to get up to date. It's going to take him maybe a little bit. That's why I said maybe week 3 or 4 he'd come in and start at center. It might take a little longer, but it's okay if he plays the way I think he's going to play at center. I don't mind waiting a couple extra weeks and let TJ Bass or Brock Hoffman fight for that backup spot. But then the last thing I want to touch on was the comment, as far as I have for you. Then you have the rest of his comments and quotes. But he was asked how is he going to be playing, eventually as a starting center for the Cowboys between Tyler Smith on the left and Zach Martin on the right. What did he say?
It would just be an unbelievable experience. You're talking about two dudes that are some of the best at their position. And just to be able to learn and be by them, it's just going to be an unbelievable experience.
And listen, that you can't be in a better spot in between both those guys. So it's just going to make him look better too. It's going to make Cooper Beebe look good in college, but now he was their best lineman. Now we got him between two of the best guys out there. He's going to look better.
True. So
I love it. So center should be okay for Cooper Beebe. You guys feel me on this? I think I'm 95% he'll be the center. Hopefully with minimal issues to get to that point. At worst, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, then he'll be the starting center. But that's the goal for this team, obviously.
Oh, so by the way, I do want to take a second here as well because we do have a $2 holler from the man Dan.
Dan himself in the house.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Dan. You know what he said?
Hit me with it.
I think Flournoy might be an underrated underrated pick.
We'll talk about the receiver very soon. Trust me, he's on the docket here. You see where he's at. You see where we're at, and you see where he's at. We're almost finished with day 2 there with the last of the picks. But baby, I want to make sure we finish what Cooper Beebe had to say, not just about center spot, which we already read, but about being picked by the Cowboys. But much love to Dan, and I just put him up on the board there. There it is.
Oh, woo!
And I got him up there in 15th place on the overall board. We'll talk about the receiver in a couple of minutes. So, baby, yes, you hit it up. What did our center have to say? Our going to be soon center Cooper Beebe have to say?
Well, he had it in there saying, I would say I'm a pretty nasty guy. I'm a dude that tries to dirt people anytime I can, but I'm also a dude that just focuses on technique. This is
the second time I heard dirt from. We heard one from Tyler Guyton saying, I love to put guys in the dirt and dirt them. He said the same thing.
Yep.
Like I like this mindset, this attitude, and Tyler Smith is also one of those maulers. So we got 3 out of our 5 guys are known maulers, and Zach Martin's a king mauler. So we're good to go here. I wish Tyron Steele was back to his not this past year, but the year before that status. Then we have 5 maulers.
Yeah, anyways. And he was also kind of asked about the combine because he didn't have the greatest one, more or less. So he also said that it was just a bad bench day. I was pretty tired from the day before, and I don't think it correlates to how I play on the field. Just because, like I said, he didn't have the greatest showing there, and it sounds like there were much higher expectations. So people are just kind of like, hey, what was up? What happened there? So,
well, it explains it. Hey, it helped us. He came to us here. He fell to us.
Of course. So, now, of course, he wasn't the only one to, flex his eyes in this regard, right? So McCarthy is so excited. Probably the most excited of anyone here in this building over Beebe, saying his position flex, as far as, that's the biggest thing that stood out to him, saying, as you look at today's game with the 17 games, and you look at our history, you can't have enough players, let alone linemen, that can play 2 positions. So
he can play 3.
Exactly.
And now 4 if he learns the center position.
He also said that, Cooper Beebe is definitely going to be part of the center competition.
Okay.
He is someone we are very, very excited about.
So, again, center is the goal, and that's the expected goal. Expectation he will be a center for the Cowboys.
Absolutely. So, now, like I said, Beebe did say that there's a possibility of him working as a center. He said that he got work at center in practice at Kansas State and in some of the pre-draft process, saying, I'm going to do whatever the team needs me to do to win. I know he said that already. But yeah, I'm just saying, that's it from Beebe himself.
Oh, okay.
We do have a few general comments about the O-line situation.
I think we talked about that one already. Is that Duke Manyweather?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
From Jerry.
Oh, Jerry spoke. Jerry spoke. Oh, what do they say? I can't wait to hear what Jerry had to say.
And remember, the reason I wanted to point it out now is just because even Jerry, highlights the big reason why we feel so great about this. He said, I think we got the most out of that 24th pick in the first round.
Yes.
We weren't even trying to be coy about our interest in offensive linemen. This is the year to be interested in them because of the depth in the draft. And we took advantage of that in every aspect with the great trade.
Listen, and again, we even picked a 7th rounder that had some you could compare him to Alan Mitchell. Awesome Richards in a way from last year. We got him in the 4th or 5th round. So, yeah, you can see that the Cowboys, they wanted to hit 3 times on this offensive line in this draft, and they did. So, hitting with the second guy here, Cooper Beebe, and I think a lot of people just really liked the fact that, tying it together with the trade down is what makes the Cooper Beebe selection and the Tyler Guyton selection A+ in my book.
So,
now let's see it work out on the field.
No, I agree. So, like I said, Jerry Jones also added in there that, they have position flex, so to speak. And he's talking about both of our offensive line picks. All of that was well thought out and well executed.
Yeah, I mean,
when I look at what we did with the 24 pick to get these 2 linemen, if you want to look at it like that, that's pretty good execution.
Agree.
So
good job from the front office on that one.
Yep. McCarthy also threw in there once more about Beebe, a hell of an interior football player. I love his play style, saying that, Beebe put a lot of defenders on the ground back in his college days.
You watch those shorts I put up, guys. He's throwing guys literally around. Some of them are defensive backs, smaller linebackers. I don't give a damn. The guy crushes people. He crushes them. I don't know why Will McClay's up. And I don't know why Jerry's up. It was supposed to be Mike. But anyways, yes, Mike McCarthy, yes.
Well, this comment by Jerry Jones cracked me the fuck up. Because while Jerry was talking about, all these offensive linemen that we just drafted, how he feels about this, strong offensive line draft class, he was asked, why did you get 3 offensive linemen in the draft? He said, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is.
And I think maybe you've made this point before that NFL lacks overall an offensive line talent. Overall.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a deep offensive line, group in this draft. It's rich in offensive linemen, which is very rare to get in the NFL.
Yeah.
Cowboys ransacked it and did the bank robbery. I agree with him on that as well. Even though, that was one of the good Jerryisms, I think. Right?
It was. Anyway, that is it as far as
our 3rd round
O-line.
pick. We had another
Beebe.
3rd round. Yeah, Beebe was our first 3rd round pick. We had a second 3rd round pick, which is our linebacker. I'm going to need your help with the name on this one sometimes here, but we'll get them in a minute because first we got Marco Sepien dropping that 5 on it. The $5 holla right there. What did the man say hey, listen, this man right now, you just see him. He's added, I'm going to put it in this way, 2.5 raffle entries for the Lunatics jersey raffle. He's up in his chances. I think he may be close to passing Jason Renfro in first place. He's very close to it, getting closer as far as first place on the jersey raffle board. You know what I'm saying? So he's gaining. I think Jason has one more because he's a member in the membership. So Marco Seppi, just letting him know. There you go, $10 per raffle. And every time you double them up with those back-to-back 5s, you get another raffle entry, up in your chance to win one of these great jerseys. Sewn and stitched. We told you know the deal, guys. It is coming from MCF, not from Mosh, from old MCF this time. So, anyway, just wanted to shout him out. What did the man say?
We could have had a starting running back instead of a backup linebacker. This draft was more of the same of a one grand slam followed by a bunch of bodies and projects.
I didn't mention the whole thing about, darts throwing. Cowboys always like to have 8 picks, and they hit on 2 I think on 2 of them we have good chance to hit. I think the rest of these are, you're going to hit a couple of them. You're going to miss a couple of them. That's the way the Cowboys do this, I think. I hear you, Mark. I don't know. We'll see if Kneeland is used more. I think he better be. We'll see if this guy is going to be used. And I think this guy is I can see this pick at linebacker, and I'll explain why. I know the running back thing bothers you. Listen, it bothers me, but they decide not to value the running back spot as much this year. They're willing to put Zeke in there as the backup plan. That's what they were going to do anyways. They're not going to go and grab a running back. But Mark, would you rather have Jonathan Brooks in the second round if he was there? Because that's what the Joneses would have done. And I'm just saying that maybe you would have rather had him. And I do agree. I've said this before. Grab your running back. Trey Benson is who I would have grabbed if I was going to be there and grab a running back. If I was going to grab a running back in the second round, it would have been Trey Benson. So then I think I would have been happier with the draft if that was the case because he's an immediate starter. So I feel you there. But I think you think about position importance. Keep this in mind, Mark. This is what the Cowboys literally admitted they're doing. Position importance. Edge rusher is more important than running back, even if it's your backup. And I'm pretty sure that's how they broke the tie. Starting running back versus a rotational edge rusher that will be the starter to DeMarcus Lawrence. And I think they did the same thing with this guy. And let's keep it moving on here. Linebacker from Notre Dame, Marist Liufau. Is that right? Liufau.
Yep.
Again, we got him at the 87th pick. Now, coming into the draft, the Cowboys needed I guess you could say we needed some depth at least at linebacker. LVE retired, right?
Yes.
There's still question marks, even though we love Damone Clark. I know you was one of your best, favorite picks from a couple of years ago, but there's still some question marks surrounding Damone Clark. And DeMarvion Overshown is a lighter guy who's been injured off the ACL and hasn't played a snap for the Cowboys in the regular season. So we need to see somebody who can play significant snaps alongside veteran Eric Kendricks. And I think Eric Kendricks will eventually be replaced by this guy, if this guy is the real deal, Liufau. The Cowboys supposedly have found that guy that can play, maybe even pass up Damone Clark into the starting rotation. That's what they're hoping for. And listen, what I've seen from this guy, he's a headhunter. I'll put some video up on him too. So he's a run-stopping headhunter. And he has good speed. So let me just say this, guys. This Notre Dame product, Marist Liufau, he is someone who never shies away from contact. He can get injured, though. He's tough as nails, brings some very important needed edge. That edge, that glass-eating edge. We have it on offensive line. We needed a linebacker that can just pound you. It reminds me of Troy Polamalu. But, he was like a safety, right? So this is like a linebacker version of him. Again, we'll see if he produces like that. I don't know. But the point is he's tough. He hits hard. One of his greatest strengths is his first step acceleration. And that's how he uses it to cover screens. That's how he does it to attack running backs. He does a great job at attacking. First step explosiveness. So when he's a guy that plays very fast on defense. And he understands his role, at least in college he did. And again, so I think he'll be that kind of player. He understands his role on the team, so he can get his opportunities to just bury someone. He will get a chance, I do think, even though you look at him as a backup initially, Mark, I do think, this is why I gave it a B+, A- for this draft, because I think he's a guy that will get a chance to make an immediate impact, maybe even more than Kneeland. Why do I say this? Because in this first year one, he will have more opportunities to be, I think, for some unfortunate reasons too, whether it's bad play or maybe we're still light at linebacker, he will have to be rotated in there. No choice to be in there for some plays and get a better understanding of the linebacking role in the NFL. So again, Zimmer loves working these linebackers, in kind of the Eric Kendricks mold in that way. So I think you're seeing you get two guys that can do the Eric Kendricks deal. Eric Kendricks, of course, himself, and this guy here. You may see him come in on third downs. And Micah may stay at edge rusher. on these plays. So just keep that. That could be another reasoning for this. Because Micah would be the inside, A-gap kind of guy. You might see both Eric Kendricks and Liufau on third downs in the center A-gap with that third down and long kind of blitz play that you just can't beat. You can't really. It's hard to beat the Zimmer defense when it's a third down and 7 or more with these guys that fit his defensive scheme. I think he's getting guys that fit at least for this year, but also this guy's a guy that's a headhunter for the future. So again, run stopping, speedy. When you look at him, Dane Brugler rated him the 15th best linebacker in the draft. Now he is 23 years old, and he is a 2-year starter at Notre Dame. Liufau played the will linebacker spot. And Marcus Freeman's from the Notre Dame's head coach. He was the head coach. Marcus Freeman, a 4-2-5 base scheme. He broke his ankle in 2021, and then he had 25 straight starts to finish his career with the Irish. And he was almost often on defense the most energetic player on the field. He's a very kind of like loud player on the field. Gets hyped. Just hypes up your defense. I love this attitude he'll bring. And again, when I said that first step he has, he has great closing burst. He hits you hard. He has great physicality. He plays through contact as well. And again, definitely is. He hits harder. He seems to hit harder than he should, based on his weight. He's like 240, 238 or something like that. So he has explosive energy, which helps him cover a lot of ground in a hurry. But the thing is, he needs to play with a little bit better anticipation and more control so he can be a better playmaker in coverage. That is really the biggest issue would be the coverage side of things if you have to pick on something from, Liufau. Now, also, he sometimes overruns players or something like this in a tackling. He's a great tackler. He's a great hitter. But he could improve his tackling. You know what I mean? So, again, with his intriguing traits, with his length, burst, and violence, but he's got to improve his play instincts to balance out that nonstop motor, relentless play style he has. Listen, of course we know he's going to probably shine as a core 4 special teamer. But we know he's going to be coached up to eventually get more of a starting role or more of a rotation in the linebacker spot on defense. We'll see what happens if the Cowboys, get him in there sooner than later. But again, as a third rounder, I would like to see more starting snaps from this guy and more use in a rotation. I think he will get meaningful defensive snaps after getting coached up. So that's my quick view on him. I don't know if you have any thoughts on him.
So, me personally?
Yeah.
So, I have to admit, I am a fan, especially the way that things went on the running back side of things. I think it made absolutely perfect sense, especially when you go back to, my first early prediction on what I thought the Cowboys would
linebacker
draft.
Is one of those.
Linebacker was, my target at the second round. So, the fact that we ended up doing it here now, in the third, saying, to me, it worked out perfectly, especially, some of the talk around town about a certain player and play style that he might resemble. Honestly, I just like the energy that he brings, and even more, I like the one common thread from our draft here. Basically, 5 of the players we drafted are all to stop the run or to help in the trenches.
Yeah, and again, he's going to help by being the linebacker that attacks. Not really a great coverage guy, but a great run stopper, hitter. And it could be better tackling and all those things. But here's the thing about him that I think we also got to add in there. I want to see him get a meaningful snaps on defense. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. That's going to be the disappointment part of things. But I also think the Cowboys are going to use him in certain packages in the Zimmer scheme. And another thing I thought you were going to say, but a trend I see from all 4 of these guys so far, they're all assholes. They're all glass eaters. They all want to just shove your face in the dirt and kill you. I love the violence. We need more of those kind of guys. That will change the culture eventually. We got a couple years, 2 years of glass eating assholes. And at least that thread is not just the same in this draft, but also in the last couple of drafts. At least that attitude may change the culture in Dallas. What did he say? I know he did speak real quick. And what did Liufau have to say about him being now the newest member of the Dallas Cowboys. I know he did speak, right?
I think he did, but the quotes that I have right now are actually from the coaches first.
Oh, okay. About him.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Hit him up then.
So
yeah, you lead the way, my love.
All good. So first of all, McClay. There's too many Mc. So, but McClay had, and remember, guys, McClay doesn't speak too often, but he is a huge fan. He said one of the things that stands out the most about Liufau was his, quote, versatility. In this day and age, Coach McCarthy will talk about players doing two things defensively the way they use them at Notre Dame. The multiplicity and the number of things that he can do at a high level is attractive. So, again, high praise from the man McClay. So, Liufau, man, now I'm fucking it up, but Liufau said that he also made a pre-draft visit, to the Dallas Cowboys, saying, quote, "It was a family atmosphere right when I got there. That was one of the things that caught my eye." So he did get to meet with, coaches, scouts, strength, and training staff, saying it made me want to come back. So there you go. I guess the family atmosphere in Dallas tempts Liufau. So as far as playing special teams for the man Bones, Liufau said, quote, "I know it'll be my ticket on the field as far as a rookie. That's one of the first goals, to excel on special teams and earn the respect of the team and organization."
Yeah. Well, we know that's pretty much what all players after, around where he got picked and beyond start off at no matter what.
So, he also, by the way, is cousins with a certain wide receiver, Puka Nacua.
Oh. Wow.
He said that he wasn't surprised to see his success in 2023 was from Puka Nacua's rookie year, because Liufau added in there, that's definitely a high bar that Puka set. So,
yeah.
And then he also threw out there how he thinks that he can personally help our Dallas Cowboys.
I want to hear it.
Quote, "First of all, they're getting a guy who does things the right way on and off the field. Just turn on the tape. I flip the switch on the field.
He does.
You're getting a person that's going to do whatever it takes to succeed for the team. And I'm going to help the Cowboys in any way necessary to add to that winning culture."
Listen, this guy is quick. He's fast. He's bursty. He has a great burst and reaction time to the ball, whether it's a run or a pass or a drop down or a screen. He is very good at that first step, the reaction time, diagnosing the play, high football IQ. I love it. He's still got things to work on, but he could get some meaningful snaps, I think, in the middle of this season. He can start getting some meaningful snaps. Now, it's going to take some time. But he can get in there, definitely get in the rotation. I think get in the defensive rotation by the middle of the season. Those are meaningful snaps,
Speaking of meaningful, Steven made it very, very clear when he was asked, because remember, guys, when they drafted him, they were getting a large amount of calls from a lot of teams, making lots of offers. So the Cowboys ended up staying. They went with Liufau. Steven said, quote, "We felt like he was there, and we didn't want to take a chance on losing him." So this is how much they meant. This is how much he meant to them, right? So
what was the any of the numbers for the draft?
Spots? I know some of them. But basically, like I said, Steven straight up said it. None of the possible trade calls were good enough to make them want to lose, risking Liufau.
Yeah, so that's interesting because
the word out there, and again, someone please confirm this if you guys heard differently, but they were offered a late 4th round pick to move back 7 spots. That was one of the better deals that were tossed their way. So
interesting. I mean, that means they really like this guy.
Yeah, basically move back 7 spots and get an extra 4th round pick.
Wow. That would feel like that's the best thing to do, but they did not do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
stuck to their
chose
guns.
to stick with who they have.
And Liufau would have probably been taken off the board in those 7 spots,
Oh, yeah, easily.
The Cowboys made the right move there in keeping him. There's other teams that wanted him right there. It cannot be that bad of a move, in my opinion, and I believe that he will get the similar to our defense. Look at our defensive picks so far with Kneeland and Liufau. To me, these guys are eventual starters like next year. This year, they are rotational players that need to get meaningful defensive snaps. Kneeland sooner than later. And Liufau also needs to get in there by the middle of the year. I think you'll see him in more of the defensive kind of game plan of Zimmer. That's my hope, at least.
So, anyway, that is everything that I had there as far as...
So that was the end of day 2. As we enter today, day 3, 4th round pick, the Cowboys acquired. Look at the bottom of your screen. You see the names coming through there. We'll talk about all these guys, but this is going to be a 3-hour stream, I told you guys. But with the 4th round pick, the Cowboys got... We did select a player with the 4th rounder in a way. You see it right there. We traded that 4th rounder to the Niners, who picked up a safety with pick number 124. We traded that away and got quarterback Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Of course, not a rookie in his now 3rd year. Entering his 4th year now. But we had him for his 3rd and now his 4th year. And that is our backup. Now, is he going to be the backup? He's going to be our backup for, guaranteed. He's still got to beat out Cooper Rush. But there's teams that also want to trade for him, so he could also be a trade piece. He could be a player you can trade for a 3rd rounder or a 4th rounder, which some teams may do. So we'll have to wait and see on him. Right now, he's our 3rd stringer when it comes to Trey Lance. But that's where our 4th round pick went. That's why I equate that to Trey Lance. And it's not like, I think that Jerry Jones somewhere said that, that's where we used our pick was for a quarterback, was for Trey Lance.
Yeah.
But a quarterback would have given us 4 years plus I guess not an option here, but it would have given us 4 years of a cheap contract. With that, instead we're getting 2 years on a kind of cheaper contract. You know what I mean? When it comes to Trey Lance. So that's the only difference. 2 years to 4 years and a guy that hasn't hit the field yet as a 4th round quarterback for the Cowboys at least. So anyways. Again, I think that's how it ended. I mean, they selected, who did the Niners select? With that 4th round pick at 124, they selected Wake Forest safety Malik Mustafa. So that's what we traded away. They got a safety, and we got Trey Lance. So, talking about defensive backs. What about our next pick right there? All the way down, we did a 4th round, no pick. 5th round, we got Caelen Carson, cornerback from Wake Forest.
That's right.
The 174th pick. So after 70 picks went off the board between selections, the Cowboys were finally back, and we selected an upgrade to our secondary, Caelen Carson out of Wake Forest. All right, so he was a 4-year starter from Wake Forest. So that's good news there. 4-year starter. He has length as a cornerback, not the height, but he has length. Posted impressive production at Wake Forest. Despite missing 11 games because of injury, in his last 3 years, he missed 11 games combined because of injury. Now he's 22 years old, but he still recorded 29 passes defensed through his college career. Also has experience playing on both inside and the slot and on the outside as a perimeter defender. Also has a role on special teams, very good special teams player and punt coverage in his collegiate career. So recognized as a player who will get physical. Again, we're hearing that word physical. And what else does he do? Even though he's a cornerback, he's a very good run support defensive player. So cornerback they can cover, but what are we talking about? What was the theme you said? Run stopping. Even the cornerback is a good run support player. So again, this is one thing that he could get better on is be more of a ball hawk. He doesn't really have interceptions. He doesn't really take the ball away. So again, he knocks the ball down like a Byron Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even as good as Byron Jones. Let's not make that mistake. But he knocks the ball down, but he doesn't take the picks. So Carson was again. Here's an interesting thing because we talked about. Forget about not the last pick, Liufau, but Cooper Beebe in the 3rd round. You know what player was also looked upon to be drafted in that spot there in the 3rd round at 73? Cornerback Caelen Carson. The Cowboys were going to pick this guy, which we got at 174. They were going to pick him at 73. But they went with Beebe instead. Thank fucking goodness. So, guys, I want to make sure I stress that the Cowboys got their kind of guys, and some of them fell to them. Now, according to Pro Football Network, NFL.com, and other places, I wanted to know more about this guy. So he graded out, listen to this, as a top 75 prospect by most people. We got him at 174. So, one of the best value day 2 cornerbacks. This is day 3 we got him on. Day 3 in the end of the 5th round. one of the most compelling man coverage cornerbacks in the entire draft class. He's a man coverage guy. And right now, it could be an island cornerback in a kind of press defense, which is what Zimmer is going to use. He's like 5'11", 6 feet, 193 pounds. Not your prototypical cowboy corner, usually over 6 feet by a good amount. But he has a great build. He has lean mass and good length. He has a frame that, again, has explosiveness, quickness, and really quick snap fluidity off releases and route breaks. So he's right there. He called himself the stickiest guy in college in this draft class. So we'll see if that's going to be, as a man-to-man guy, he is spectacular. But off ball, a little bit different. He is one of the most proficient press men cover corners in the draft. And he successfully matched receivers with technique, athleticism, and was able to suffocate them with that competitive edge, that motor he has, and that proactive physicality. He's a guy that uses two hands sometimes to basically gather and squeeze receivers against the sideline, shove them to the sideline in those first 5 yards in a press man coverage situation, and then kind of stalls their momentum or gets the timing off with the quarterback and the receiver, and gives himself leverage in one-on-one situations, knocks the ball down, needs to improve the interceptions, but knocks the ball down. He also can recover, and he closes ground with his explosiveness, and also very good at the catch point to at least knock the ball away. So again, if he made the interception, he'd be a playmaker type with great instincts. So we'll hope he can improve there on that side of things. But you know what? Dane Brugler also rated him as the 13th best cornerback in the draft. 4-year starter, as we said. Perimeter cornerback is where he's best at. Often shadow the opponent's top receiver, which I think he dominated everyone but the Quan Alexander, which was the guy from Florida, I think. Anyways, he went to the Bills. But the point is that, injuries did keep him off the field at times. Like I said, he missed 11 games in his last 3 seasons in college, but he was a 4-year starter. And even though they kept him off the field, he was still productive from the moment he stepped back on the field. Accounted for 29 passes defensed over his 36 games played. He's very well schooled in all different kinds of defensive coverage types. He's also versatile. He can play, like I said, in the slot nickel cornerback. He's a heady athlete, good IQ, spatial awareness, and he also has loose movements to be able to make up mid-route adjustments and stay in phase and sticky with receivers. This is his thing, guys. So we got a guy, you could use him, Zimmer could use him specialist to kind of stay on a receiver. If there's a guy that really creates a lot of separation, maybe you throw this guy on him.
Yeah.
It's an idea, especially as he gets in his career, in the NFL. But he does have his risk-taking issues. He'll take risks, and he was inconsistent on film at risk-taking. He got burnt sometimes because he jumped the play. So he needs to do a better job at taking the football away when the quarterback makes a mistake, which, again, he just knocks it down and goes through his hands. All right? His last interception was in September of 2021. It's like 4 years ago when football started.
It's been a little while.
He needs to get an interception. So Carson needs to prove he can stay healthy and be on the field for a full season and also make interceptions, a couple more interceptions. But he does have the competitive athleticism and the mental football IQ for coverage duties in the NFL. He offers inside-outside versatility, and everyone says, this has been the way it is. Eventually, he should be a starter. So to me, and I think that's what somebody was saying there, Nashawn Wright is replaced by Caelen Carson, who should be, by the time training camp is over, I don't see a reason why this guy should not, if they're saying all these things about him, he should not be competing and beating Nashawn Wright out, in my opinion. I don't know. I like the work we got with this guy. Again, they've said it before. He's most suitable for press man coverage and cover 2 looks. But he can do other coverages, just so you guys know, because Zimmer runs 2 different sides of the field, different coverages. One side he's got zone, the other side he's got press.
Yep. So
he'll do that sometimes. But again, he doesn't have as many snaps under his belt as some prospects have right now. And his natural instincts, and his break anticipation are good, but not fully focused yet. They need to be still fine-tuned. So again, he's much better from press than off-man coverage. And again, like I said, he's physical. He knows how to release and contest catches very well. I just love the way he comes downhill, strikes with good purpose, making tackles and helping in the run game. So a lot of great stuff from him. He has angles that he throws as a tackler, and that's where he's a good tackler. He's a good, he makes the run stops, but he'd take some dumb angles at running backs and then miss sometimes. That's where he needs to kind of not have those missed opportunities right in front of him. Overall, though, his physical traits are ahead of most of the positional skills. But there is still enough in place. Again, this guy is definitely projected to be a starter in the near future, a cornerback 3. So if like we lose, in a year, no more Jordan Lewis, or saying that is, I think when you'll see him come into that Jordan Lewis spot eventually.
Okay.
Eventually, and him and Deron Bland can switch back and forth. That'll be in a year or two from now, though. That's all. I'm just saying. With Nashawn Wright still hanging around, I don't know how, but he's been a huge disappointment from the 3rd round, if you remember, and that was 4 years ago. So he's on his last year here, anyways. If he makes the team, the Cowboys needed a legitimate option at cornerback. And Carson, who, again, he carried from most people's viewpoints, had him as a 3rd or 4th rounder. We got him at the end of the 5th round, guys. He's the one that's going to fill that void for now. Zimmer is getting a young, experienced cornerback. Again, experience is important. All these guys have a lot of years under their belts as starters. A young, experienced cornerback with some upside that he can work with. And based on all the reports, the Cowboys got a very good value with this pick in the end of the 5th round at cornerback. So any quick words from him, baby? That he had said. I don't know if you have any feelings about him, but
I mean, I have to admit I don't have any particularly strong feelings. I'm looking forward to looking into a few more of these players that I don't know as much about. But he did speak, actually.
Yeah,
he spoke a little more than I thought he would. But Carson also said that he didn't speak with the team since his formal interview at the Combine. He called being drafted to the Cowboys pretty surprising. So he kind of expected to go in the 3rd to 4th round. So the fact that he went in the 5th round, he said, this is God's plan. So he also compared his game to a raw J.C. Horn.
Yeah, that would be great if we get anything like that. Healthy, though. J.C. Horn gets hurt a lot.
We'll have to see. So one time, Caelen Carson also manned the perimeter on Wake Forest punt return team, looking up gunners, saying, quote, "I think I did a really good job, not just winning the rep, but usually destroying the gunner. I think I'm pretty good at that." So
he's going to be playing a lot of special teams there to start his career, obviously. But by next year, Nashawn Wright had to start there too. Nashawn Wright's our 4th corner. So will he jump Nashawn this year? I don't know, but I think he should.
We'll have to see, but he also said exactly what it is that the Cowboys are going to get if they draft him, saying gritty player. Somebody that is going to do whatever for the team. Play special teams, play nickel, play outside, so you've got versatility. And not just a competition dude. I'm competitive by nature. My personality might be quiet, but on the field, it's a whole different personality.
Again, reminds me exactly what who was saying that. Tyler Guyton, who was the one that said that he's quiet on the outside and he wants to I think it was Marshawn Kneeland. I'm not sure, but basically, or maybe it was Tyler Guyton. But Tyler Guyton wants, he was the one that said, "I'm like nice, but I have violence in me for the football field." These guys have that same mindset, and again, there's nothing different here with Caelen Carson's viewpoint, even at cornerback. He's a dog.
So. And he also was asked, if his game is similar to any NFL current cornerbacks. He said, "I think my game is a lot like J.C. Horn, but I feel like this is a lot more mature. His is more consistent when he plays, but I feel like at my peak, I can be that type of player and that caliber corner."
We'll see. I'm looking forward to see what he can develop into. He's not going to be that now.
So, nope. It's all good there. So, he also said that he's full go from that foot injury that he suffered towards the end of the 2023 season. It unfortunately prevented him from playing in the Senior Bowl, and he couldn't really work out at the Combine either. So maybe another reason why his draft stock also maybe fell just a little bit. So, and reminding everybody, even though he did miss the Senior Bowl, all of that, he did manage to have a pro day. He ran a 4.52 at his 40.
Nice. So we need a nice, quick guy on the outside. His burst and explosiveness is very good, and he is, like I said earlier, and I said, you guys said it in the chat too, self-proclaimed stickiest guy in the draft. But he's definitely one of the best in man coverage. That's a fact. it may be needed for not just Zimmer's defense, but the next defense coming here. When we have the pass rush we got, we need those sticky defenders and press man because the quarterback has 2 seconds to throw, and if you're pressing for 2 seconds, then he ain't going to throw it to that receiver.
So,
did he say anything more?
That was actually it from him.
About the front office didn't say anything about him either?
No, that was it.
Let's go on. We're down to 3 more guys. These are going to be a little faster, but let's go with the 6th round pick, Ryan Flournoy. Or Flournoy, I guess, right? Flournoy?
Is it Flournoy? Okay.
So again, guys, he was the 216th pick, wide receiver. Raved for his athleticism. You know, when you look at the GPS times during the position drills at the combine, he posted the fastest GPS time as far as any receiver when it came to the position drills. You know, the guy who did it last year? He's the best GPS quickness in the receiving drills. It was Puka Nacua last year. So a lot of Puka stuff going on.
I know.
Whether it's the fourth
Puka or Puka adjacent.
Yeah, Liufau or Ryan Flournoy. So anyways, the point is here, Flournoy is he is a little bit of an older prospect. All right, I think he's like 25, 24, but the Cowboys are taking a chance on a big time athlete. And this is again later in the draft. By this point, the 6th round, end of the 6th. He was drafted in the 6th round. He scored, listen to this, a 9.89 out of 10 in the relative athletic score chart. This put him 38th in history, basically, out of 3,402 receivers. This is from 87 to now. So again, he is not only quick and fast, but he also has some strength as well. 6'1", 202-pound frame. So he's very fast, very athletic. And he's not a beanpole, all right? So he began his career at Central Missouri. And, I am going to say that, the smaller college stuff here, he's at Southeastern Missouri there. He began at Central Missouri, then transitioned to Iowa Western Community College, and ultimately found his place at Southeastern Missouri. So this is a small school. And, the Cowboys, like I said earlier, are not really banking on the big-name schools all the time. So, they go and take a chance on a guy who kind of, he emerged as an electrifying addition to the Cowboys' talented receiving core already. So this is just another guy thrown in the mix. Because, again, we got CeeDee Lamb, of course. Brandon Cooks, our number 2. Jalen Tolbert, number 3. Then we got, of course, Jalen Brooks, at receiver, last year's 7th round pick. And who's the little guy again? The kickoff returner? I'm asking.
The 5th round pick?
No, baby, we have on our team already.
You mean Vaughn?
No, baby, our kickoff returner.
Crap. I can't remember his name again. It starts with an S, I think. His last name, no?
Oh, baby. Anyways, look, the point is we have 5 or 6 receivers. Now we're throwing in another guy into the mix. And this guy's going to compete for one of those 6 spots. All right? So, again, this guy, again, smaller school, but when they face the tougher opponents, like Kansas State.
Were you talking about Turpin?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I know you were out of it.
Why did you phrase it that way?
Because I was talking about receiver. Let's calm down. I was saying
it's not that.
I was going to our receiving core.
I know, but the way you made
but I wanted to know if you remembered.
One of our newer guys.
No,
or something.
No, baby.
I don't know which one of them is supposed to be the tiny guy we added.
I didn't say that. But anyways, the thing is that when this guy faced up against top talent like Kansas State, he consistently demonstrated why he is one of the more high ceiling late round prospects in this draft class, especially at receiver. So from the first catch, he's like, again, in your face, kind of the alpha kind of style receiver, being able to work all over the field at all the formations, the traditional X slot, and can also come out of the backfield. So this guy can run basically 2 or 3 different positions as a receiver on the field, which is, we always like to have a guy like that that's versatile. He's also a guy who could put together and manufacture his own drives if you put the ball constantly somehow in his hands, even out of the backfield or as a receiver. He excels as a downfield route runner. And again, has a natural instinct for manipulating coverages, so he can read defenses. He exploits the blind spots of the defense and maximizes the drive phase before seamlessly kind of transitioning to another direction, another way. So again, his combination of speed and physicality basically makes him a threat at any point along the field. That's why I know you'll say it, but he compared himself to Dez Bryant, where he said he's like Dez Bryant. He has the same type of game. So he's pairing this with consistent and focused hands. This guy's made some great, difficult catches. I've seen the footage, and he's had people in his face in penalties thrown. He still makes the catch, and not just once, but over and over again. So this guy is consistent and making. He's a very good, great hands. He's not going to drop passes. Is the point? Shouldn't. And again, physical, has the speed, goes up for it. Again, I know you're going to talk about him in a minute. He's going to speak, but he feels he's like Dez a little bit. So Flournoy, I hope I'm saying, I don't know if it's Flournoy or Flournoy, but I mean, it looks like flour. I guess it'd be Flournoy. I don't know. Flournoy catches the ball away from his frame, away from his body, right? And he knows how to box out defenders because he has a thicker kind of build, 6'1", 202 for a receiver. He's fearless going across the middle. He takes hits. Makes plays in traffic. So a lot of his highlight catches come, on a play that's broken, in the extended play, or usually at the end of the play, he gets loose, finds the open spot, quarterback hits him for a touchdown, right? So or an amazing play. So that's Dak is very good. He adapts, finds his targets when he breaks the pocket. So again, Gallup kind of he's still a free agent. He was a player Dak would usually throw the ball up there too. Jalen Brooks, who's still on the team, of course, 7th round pick last year as a rookie, he may have the first chance to play that role over Flournoy. So that will be something to watch in training camp. The battle between Jalen Brooks and Flournoy, but Brooks will get the first chance to do that. Flournoy will be a guy to watch throughout training camp and preseason, and see if he has any flash plays, highlight plays, in camp. So something to watch there, and see if he can fight his way to make it on the roster. He told the Cowboys on the team draft show that he started his football journey as a running back, and some of that skill to get upfield is evident when he has the ball in his hands. He plays like a running back. He looks like a running back. So again, he mentioned Jerry Rice's inspiration, modeling his game after former Cowboy receiver number 88, Dez Bryant. He said he can run Dez Bryant's favorite route, the back shoulder fade, and has a strong ability to high point the ball. So he practices the Dez Bryant plays in a way and can do them
honestly,
very well consistently.
That is equal parts like adorable and smart.
Yeah, hey, he's got the size and build and the speed. And you work yourself into a Dez Bryant-like kind of guy. Yeah, it makes sense. You got he could be a guy in the future, can be like maybe a guy we use, not in the red zone, but maybe a little bit outside of the red zone. Maybe we're getting closer to the red zone and hit that spot there. So he offers size and football character. He's again very very much like Liufau, like he's very energetic and on the field. So he'll get you pumped as well. But again, he has areas where he has to improve on. Against off-man coverage, not press, when he can use his speed and a little more of his power. Against off-man coverage, he utilizes his size and ball sticks, his ball skills to basically be able to stack catches. But against press, he can be tardy off the release, becomes reliant on physicality instead of his route, technique and route running, and doesn't allow to create throwing windows and separation for the quarterback. So that's one of his issues he needs to improve on. Also, his route running sometimes is undisciplined, but that can be sharpened in practice in the NFL. The lack of suddenness will hold him back against tight man coverage. They put someone really good in tight coverage on him, it will make him irrelevant in the play. So again, because of his lack of sudden movement and that kind of stuff. So anyways, he did have some good reps in the Senior Bowl, and people were thinking he'd be, could make him a day 3 pick and a shot at making a roster. So again, we're talking about not a guy who's going to come in there and be a starter, who's going to come over Tolbert and start. No, this guy's just depth to battle Jalen Brooks, Kevontae Turpin, and some of the other guys that's later on down on this depth chart. So again, he's also listed as a freak. He was on Bruce Feldman's freak list because of his size and speed. He's a project in terms of route running and other nuances of the receiver position, but he has a wide catch radius. Reminds me a little bit of Jalen Brooks, believe it or not. Outstanding body control and throughout the catch process. So I think the Cowboys are trying to find which of these two guys, Jalen Brooks or Flournoy. Which one can be that, not to say Dez, but the Dez-like guy? Because they both have big, they have wide, they high point, they have wide catch radius. So very similar both from last year and this year. So he did dominate at Southeast Missouri and Central Missouri. And then, but that's against lesser competition most of the time. He shined at the Senior Bowl against superior competition. And again, in that game, in the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, and in the Senior Bowl, he demonstrated his versatility. He won in the slot multiple times and won on the outside perimeter against some of the, against bigger cornerbacks that you'd think would slow him down. No. So again, the only thing he does do is sometimes struggle to create separation against press coverage. That's his biggest issue. All right? But they're saying with the right coaching, he could be a rotation receiver with importance to any team. So we'll see if that pans out for a guy that, is going to be fighting to stay on this team, Ryan Flournoy. So any comments from him?
From him directly, we actually do have a few comments from him. As far as being drafted in the 6th round, Flournoy had to say, quote, "I was waiting my whole life for that call." He also reminded us that he did not have a 30-day visit with this team.
That's right. And a lot of these guys didn't.
Or a 30 visit, not 30 days. He added in their quote, "Them picking me is the best decision they ever made because they're getting a hard worker." So, no, I'm just saying, it's one of the few players that we, didn't bring in some capacity and check them out beforehand. So, now, I will say, I think he's speaking a little bit out of his ass on this one. But he did say that he, quote, "A lot of people say I play like Dez Bryant."
Well, again, I understand what he's saying.
I get it. I'm just saying that's, those are some high expectations you're putting on yourself. So, and then Dane Brugler even had some thoughts to share on him, saying that he's more athletic than skilled as a route runner. And cornerbacks stick to him at the breaking point. But he has a large, accepting hands with balance and body control before, during, and after the catch. He projects as an NFL rotational receiver who can earn playing time with further development.
Yeah, that kind of echoes what I said. And again, I think that he's a guy that will create problems for Dak to throw the ball to him in a clean space, but also the guy can make plays even when covered. So I think that's kind of like the thing. He's going to get better at his suddenness as well in the routes.
Exactly. So, anyway, that was it for...
All right. So the last round, the 7th round, we've got 2 guys picked here, and I'll go through it as quick as I can. These are quickies. So, but I like these guys. They're not quickies, but don't forget about them. Now, I said about, Dominic Puni, or Puna, whatever his name was. I thought the Cowboys would draft him if they would get to the 7th round, and he was drafted about 5 picks before Nathan Thomas, which the Cowboys did select with the 233rd pick of the draft in the 7th round. Another small school. They're going for athletes, the Cowboys, and they're going for even small schools now. So, Louisiana Lafayette offensive tackle Nathan Thomas. Cowboys right now are in the process of rebuilding that offensive line. I love this pick in the 7th round. He's a huge tackle with a lot of traits, high upside, that can be coached up. He is 6'5", 334 pounds. Has position flexibility. He allowed just 13 pressures on 410 pass blocking snaps in 2023. Like you said, I think Dane Brugler had a 5th round grade on him. We got him in the 7th. And the NFL Network's Lance Zierlein had a 4th round grade on him. We're talking about a 4th and 5th round grade on a guy we drafted in the 7th round. So you look at this very intriguing offensive line prospect. Outstanding lean. He has outstanding lean mass and also above average upper body power. He's a solid run blocker. But he does lack desired pad level. He has to get lower. That's one of the issues you have to work on, right? So he's got to get lower. And his feet have to, he's got to get his hands and feet to help push defenders where he wants them to go more often. His footwork as a run blocker is much better than it is in protection. So he's a better run blocker than a pass blocker. And it's a move inside to guard. Some people are saying that, could help take away his issues. So again, it's kind of like a Tyler Smith mindset. But again, even a Cooper Beebe mindset. Going into the guard spot, this guy could be more of a better guard in the NFL than a tackle. But at this point, he's a backup level player. Oh, much love. Beat by money.
Oh, thank you for summing it up.
Welcome back to the family. Appreciate you. But yeah, again, he's a kind of guy that, Footwork better as a run blocker than protection, but moving inside the guard takes care of that. Capable of taking on lateral blocking duties, and he has room for continued improvement. Like I said, though, backup level player. His size and run blocking talent give him a real chance to move up a depth chart. So again, solid depth is the expectation for Nathan Thomas, 2-year starter, a left tackle. And again, I think they had a 56-44 run-pass split. So a lot more running than passing. This is more of a run blocker for us. Zone-based run scheme with quick-hitting pass schemes centered around RPO, play action, bootleg concepts that move the pocket. So again, he's a tall, well-proportioned player, good arm length, big hands, solid athletic ability, and play strength. He's also an up-and-down run blocker that has flashes of commanding play strength because he latches on so well, steers and drives defenders away from the ball on a lot of mainly zone run blocking concepts. So he showcases the ability to control his body and adjust, and stay attached to the defensive player while in the rep. While there are still, again, very equally impressive spurts of this, of his hands and jolting people around, he can really rock defenders off their heels. However, this is when a lot of times you see him leaning in too much, overextending, falling off contact against shiftier defenders, slippery defenders that he cannot latch onto right away. Then he has problems there because of his upright play style and sloppy footwork that then sacrifices his balance. So that is, Nathan Thomas's, good, bad, and ugly. I like him as some depth. He's got a lot to learn. What did he say, Nathan Thomas?
So he said that, he has never played a rep at guard, but that he does expect to make the move from tackle to guard, and he feels like he can make that transition for a very specific reason. Quote.
So, we should change that to OG. Then we should the guard, because he's more of a guard than a tackle.
Because I'm an offensive lineman. As an O-lineman, you just got to be willing to play any position that they need you to play. Is it going to be a learning thing for me? Yes. But is it going to be something I'm going to struggle with? Nah, I don't think so.
Love it.
So, that was
a quick
actually
comment
literally
there.
it from him.
So, last but not least, there in the 7th round, a couple 10, 15 picks later, we got Justin Rogers with a 11 picks later, 244th pick. We got Auburn defensive tackle Justin Rogers. The Cowboys had to find someone to beef up the interior of the defensive line to help stop the run. This guy's 7th round is not going to be the answer, but he is an attempt to at least start to fix the issue, which is obviously large, and he is also large and specializes in run defense. He's a what you see is what you get type of nose tackle. Not even a defensive tackle. He is a 1-tech, 0-tech nose tackle. Girthy build. All right. Film is full of fist fights, and he gives as well as he gets. He's built low to the ground, plays with a terrific anchor, wards off blocks, finishes and stays on his feet. He has decent length for his size, but not enough consistency to shed blocks. So that's one of his biggest issues there, even though he has the power to stack single blocks. He is more of a drain-clogging nose tackle, who basically muddies the A-gap for teams looking for depth and helps slowing the run. That's exactly what he's going to be used for, behind Mozzie Smith to help slow the run. That's all we need him for, and it's a good pick in the 7th round, someone that can maybe sneak on this team. We have a need there. So he's very effective run defender. Plays with good, functional strength. Like I said, stacks blocks and closes gaps. He also reliably handles 2 gap and lane responsibilities by squeezing the blocker into one and then occupying the other one. He has a strong lower body, able to anchor and hold up at the point of attack versus the run. So again, he is not going to get moved back even like the Dontari Poe did when he was with us. He has heavy hands and lands punches well. He can also displace blockers with his functional strength and that power. But again, you gotta really appreciate his ability and knowledge when and where to strike and stonewall reach blocks on zone runs. He makes linebackers' lives easier because of how effective he is at occupying blocks. That's what we need. Somebody who could just take up that spot and let Kendricks and all our linebackers do what they need to do there. So keeping your linebackers clean is what his main purpose is, and his main purpose is for the NFL. A lot of people want to draft someone that can only do that. anywhere in the draft, maybe other than the 7th round. So that's why you get these guys at the end, because that's all we need him to do in this situation. So he keeps the linebackers clean, limits interior offensive linemen climbing to the 2nd level, and then any linebackers behind him that he can do that to. These linebackers, they scrape and throw and they flow around freely to the football, filling the running lane, stopping the run. He don't stop the run, but the linebackers do. He keeps them clean. He is not a 3-down defender. When it's a pass time, when it's a 3rd and 7, you take his ass out. He has a lack of athleticism, lack of twitch. Pass rush maneuvers is bad. Does not create a path for success as a full-time starter, ever. But his arms are measured in at a solid point. Even with that, issues still show up on tape, and he has to quickly defeat blocks and showcase some counter moves in the pass rush. I don't think the Cowboys are looking for that. They just need a guy who can just take on blocks and not get moved backwards. But his wingspan also limits his ability to tackle from his position at the point of attack, despite able to flash sometimes and force running backs to pivot from where they want to run to. So he can make the running back change at times, but it's hard for him to make the tackle because the arms are literally too long. So as long as he keeps his blocks occupied, which is the point here, linebackers will be free. This is in college. He's not going to be doing that as a starter, but at least this is where he stands as, his current role with the Cowboys, behind basically Mazi Smith. And if Mazi Smith fails, maybe this is the guy that's, has the weight and can do it better. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Did he say anything, baby? When it comes to our final pick here in the 7th round, Justin Rogers, nose tackle, defensive tackle notes from Auburn. And,
No, he did not.
He did not speak. He just said he loves to be a Cowboy. That's all I know.
There you go.
So, guys, and then we got, I talked about undrafteds already. We got everything in the books. Let's go through the final, again, guys, with 3 hours live here. All right, so I don't know. It's a really long one, and if you're watching this in a replay, put it on double speed. You get all the facts in here. But appreciate everybody dropping the thoughts and knowledge in the chat tonight. I want to hit everybody up here as far as a quick, as we call out everybody, shout everybody out, a comment or two from the family in the chat. And again, a big shout out to those that dropped the love tonight: Jason Renfro, Skeptical Fan, Dan, and Mark Hovsepian. Thank you all for dropping the love. McLovin is the man, top of the spot right now as a sponsor of the week and the Cash App King, back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Same thing with Jason Renfro as the membership gifting champion back-to-back. And he's also the leader there, trying to go for a 3-peat. Tomorrow is the last chance for someone to try to beat out Jason. He's got only 1 gifted membership, so 2 wins it. We'll see what happens. That's tomorrow. And, of course, our final stream for the week will be tomorrow. We'll crown some champions. But who's in the lead? SCO971 is in the lead, not just on the Cash App board, but the overall board as well. So much love to all you guys who are repping the board. And also much love to those that have dropped the love from above for the Lunatics Draft Jersey Raffles. A representation of day 1 and day 2. We're going to have 2 winners, each of them winning one jersey of their choice that we have available. We have many available, sewn and stitched, new and old players. A lot to choose from. How do you get in? $10 per raffle entry. If you got a membership and you hit the $10, you get a second bonus entry. And if you want to keep stacking them, you can keep dropping more $10 hollers.
That's right.
And you get, every 10, you get another raffle entry. So we're going to do this draft probably in a couple of weeks. Probably going to remind you guys about it every day or so when we go live, just so you guys know what we're doing. And we're tallying all the numbers so we know how many raffle entries you will be earning. And of course, our draft today, we went through it all. Tomorrow we'll do a much quicker stream. Trust me on this. We're going to be very busy tomorrow as well. Have to go out to some parts to check out some the kids' activities in the band. So we're going to be doing a whole thing tomorrow. So, we'll be back breaking down the undrafteds and maybe touching on some of these other guys. More of a back and forth stream with you guys in the chat. But for now, I wanted to make sure we broke them all down for you. Got everything out there for all these guys. So if you have a question, we got the answers here. Baby, let's wrap it up with everybody in the chat. Some shout-outs. Barely get to see our faces today. The shout-outs and comments with those shout-outs as we wrap it up here tonight. 100 people in the house.
Of course.
Much love. Hit that like button for the stream right now. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe right now. We're almost at 35,000. We're like 400 away from 35,000. So, guys, family members are growing here left and right in this offseason. And, of course, hit the notification bell. Put it on to all videos because we go live. Try to go live every day, definitely during the season. We've done it for almost 7 years here on YouTube. So make sure you guys do all that stuff as well. Follow us on YouTube at MyCowboysFamily. Discord, we got that. All the information is in the description down below. And you know what it is. We need that 6. Go Cowboys. Baby, hit up the chat. Get those hit the call outs and the comments as we get ready to roll out for the night.
Dustin Roberts said, all these picks are key to certain things we need. I believe we're a much better team and we'll be clicking.
I think
Orion Fowles, much love, said, I love football, particularly Cowboys football, and MCF gets that. Thank you, MCF.
Yes, thank you.
Always. Dallas Connor, too much love, take it easy.
Yeah.
We have our edits, not sure how to say that. Little Dallas Cowboy, what's up? Tokyo, take it easy. David, what's up? Cogs in the house. No, just kind of rolling back here. Ganja Man, take it easy. Much love. Man. Yeah, that's actually literally as far back as it lets me go. We see Dustin Roberts, GM, James Herr.
I almost lost my voice speaking for 3 hours on this thing. But we knew we skipped yesterday, so today was going to be a little rougher. We got them all done, though. Got it done. Hey, and the man Mark Hovsepian getting it done here with that 5 on it.
Woo.
$5 holler from the man Mark Hovsepian. What did he say as we're wrapping this up?
We struggled against good teams and got killed by Green Bay. This draft is full of guys that could start halfway through the season's over. Guys who aren't good enough to begin with.
A couple are. The most aren't. And most teams aren't either. You know, third rounders, fourth rounders, they ain't starting. But yeah, you know, first and second, it would have been nice. I think we get the second round starter. It's like every year it's always that. You know, Schoonmaker, Sam Williams, they're like almost starting. You got Trayvon Diggs, one of the few good ones, Kelvin Joseph and, you know, Taco Charlton and so many other goddamn misses. You know, Tristan Hill, just horrible. You know, and then you get one good one, DeMarcus Lawrence way back 10 years ago. So just Jalen Smith, right? I mean, there's so much. I could go through this list. Second rounders have been just a couple hits. Out of 10 years, we had like 2 hits and 8 fucking misses. Let's be honest. So, yeah, that's the biggest issue I see is, you know, is more with the, you know, the choice made, not the fact that it's a second round. The Cowboys have to go second rounders to like replace an eventual, you know, become an eventual starter in a year. That's what they pick the second rounders in. It just seems that way. I don't know. We needed guys to have more impact in that second round. The Cowboys have not. They get a little impact in the third and fourth rounds. We somehow in the second round, we just somehow would never get that initial day one impact from these guys. Very weird. Very weird. So, yeah, I kind of, they're right there with you, brother. Yeah, I also see somebody else dropping some love. It is Mark Hovsepian once again. Ooh. With a J. Lou $2 holler. What did he say?
He said, the point is this how we improve? Clown show.
This is the way the clown show improves. I do think that like I said it, I don't know if you were here, Mark, at the beginning, but I don't think the Cowboys got better with this draft. But was this a bad draft? I do not think so. It could have been better. Of course, every draft can be better. I don't think we had as many misses as we did last year. We had a lot more misses last year. I agree with you. It is always run by we wouldn't have to worry about as many misses if the Cowboys would have signed CeeDee Lamb, you know, give Dak the extension. You know what I mean, guys? We would have had a couple of these positions already filled, not have to worry about this for this year. The Cowboys are not worried about about this year as much as they're worried about the future. And the future, they want to get their own guys that are ballers from the start, and they sign them to the end, even though we're waiting for 3 guys right now to get signed, as in Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, of being their own guys. That's the craziness about this thing. Guys, thank you for rocking it here with this. Mark Hovsepian. Appreciate him, as I said, dropping the love here. Dan, Skeptical Fan, and Jason Renfro. Zachary goes to 31 points in the Stream Boss after the barrage by Mark and his courts. Thank you again, everybody in the house. I think we shouted everybody out already, but baby, I want you to let everybody know, why do we do this thing here on MCF each and every night? We try to do it each and every night here on My Cowboys Family. Why do we do this?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Here on this channel, we always rep that star over everything. And here for almost 7 years, we're like a month and a half away from 7-year anniversary on YouTube. Here on My Cowboys Family, never forget the number one thing here, now and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond sooner or later, please. And everybody in the chat, thank you all for dropping the knowledge all night long. Even you, Swarton, who can't even stand his own Denver Broncos team. Got to come here for that Dallas Cowboys. Much love to everybody in the house tonight, dropping the knowledge in the chat. And, of course, those that dropped the love from above, like the Marco Sepians of the world, Jason Renfro's, Dan's, and Skeptical fans. Thank you all. On that note, though, it is time to clock out and drop out for the night after 3 hours of Dallas Cowboy draft talk. Couldn't have a better show. So, baby, before we can drop out, clock out for the night, relock and reload for a quick finale tomorrow. Tell everybody what we got to do before we drop out of here.
We got to drop the beat.
That beat's been dropped. It is officially a wrap here. And my Cowboys family. Where is it not coming up? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Guys, thank you all again for checking in with us. You could be anywhere. You're here chilling with us for 3 hours, 100 people and beyond. It was a must-do show, and we got all caught up on things. Tomorrow we'll get the rest of the undrafteds and maybe a little bit of the odds and ends we missed on some of these guys. So, guys, everybody, thank you there for repping it with us here, taking the time out to check in on all the Dallas Cowboy draft news, info, and updates here on another MCF Cowboys chat. This time, a recap of the draft. And don't forget, we could throw in there a little Zeke news in there, too, at running back. That it looks like to be the deal now going forward. You know, amongst number changes and other things, this is the biggest changes. These 8 guys we just got on this team, and we just got 10 more undrafted guys that we signed. Probably a couple more tomorrow. We'll talk about that and more right here on MCF. Can't wait for you all to give us your feedback, your comments in the section down below. And remember what we do this for here, the MCF. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here, my Cowboys family. Much love to everyone in the house watching, even the enemies. Much love to everybody in the house. Hit that like button for the stream. Hit subscribe if you're new. Keep growing the channel. And make sure you put that notification bell on to all videos. Follow us on all social media, Twitter, X, at MyCowboysFamily, the Discord. The information is all in the description down below. Appreciate everybody in the house. Stay safe. Much love. Hope you're having a great weekend. We'll see you back here tomorrow night to close out the week and wrap up this draft once again. Peace, love, and never forget, Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.